Chapter 12:29. The huge engravings on the endless ice ground suddenly shot up into the sky. So, the dark green mountain vanished into thin air. This is a special teleportation technique. Mountain Passenger laughed within the mountain. It's a little like your star pagoda. There's a large amount of space within your pagoda. From one space to another, it'll easily form a teleportation path. This is also a method of getting closer, it just condenses the path into a single point. Luo Feng listened, his eyes filled with doubt. He understood the meaning, but he didn't understand the intricacies. Haha, I've said it before, the 3 rebirth eras, the 2 sacred lands universe, probably no more than 3 can recognize it. And their recognition speed isn't even as fast as mine. Mountain Passenger laughed. Even the strongest of the universe don't understand. How would you understand? As long as you know, this is one of the universe boat's abilities, it'll be enough. Actually, from what I see, the universe boat is an incomparably mysterious treasure. It's just that compared to the most powerful treasures we know, it's even more mysterious. I think so too. Luo Feng nodded. What do you mean you think so too? This universe boat has the shape of a boat, the refinement marks are so obvious, many absolute warriors suspect it to be an incomparably terrifying treasure. Alright, the teleportation is over. Mountain Passenger said. The light outside was dim. Space and time flowed. In a quiet space, a mountain appeared out of thin air. Look outside. Mountain Passenger pointed to the outside world. The dark green mountain itself swiftly became nothing, not obstructing one's vision at all. It's very beautiful, a very simple space. Luo Feng looked out. This space wasn't big. In the middle of a huge lake was an island. There were no plants on the island. There were only beautiful sculpted stone palaces. The ancient palaces were undulating. Teacher, I can feel the 2 scales are within the lake. Luo Feng said. I already know where these 2 scales of yours came from. Mountain Passenger pointed downwards. This huge lake, and the water of the lake, is the vast domain of ice and water that is about 3 days away from here. I reckon that your 2 scales fell into the domain of ice and water, and perhaps flowed here through some secret passage. Teacher, I'll head down first. Luo Feng, however, was extremely impatient. He didn't have the time to chat with his teacher. Haha, go ahead. Mountain Passenger smiled and nodded. He sat on the scarlet pyramid and flew out of the mountain peak. It whizzed down and directly dived into the icy waters. He continued to drill downwards. Before, in the ice water domain, Luo Feng had collected over 100,000 scales, hence he was very clear that the ice water had no threat at all. Accurately speaking, the entire abyss had no threat to the Star Tower. At most, Luo Feng would never be able to escape. Over there. Luo Feng's senses were getting stronger. In the depths of the lake, the blood-colored pyramid continued to sink. Then, a misty golden light quickly condensed into a huge golden hand and grabbed the 2 scales. Haha, got it. He returned to the core space of the mountain. Mountain Passenger stood at the side with a smile. Luo Feng was extremely excited. He swiftly made the 2 scales in his hands recognize him as their master. Immediately, the half-finished godly extermination armor disintegrated. Along with the large amount of scales that hadn't been absorbed before, in an instant, a total of 899,9999 scales floated around Luo Feng. Most of the scales were black, with a small portion being gold. Hua! In an instant, the fusion was incomparably precise. This made Luo Feng exclaim. First, he was able to create many techniques and construct them with engravings. He even disassembled close to 9 million scales. Defense, close combat, long-range engravings were all fused exquisitely. To be able to create such a treasure, it was unbelievable. Not bad. Mountain Passenger nodded in praise. Luo Feng's black scale armor had 4 silver wings on his back. Suddenly, the color of the scale armor changed, becoming silver. Even his golden right hand became silver. The shape also changed slightly. This way, Even Lord Wu Hun wouldn't be able to recognize you. Mountain Passenger smiled and nodded. Luo Feng was excited too. However, Wu Hun actually used this demon extermination armor like it was a treasure of the palace. This armor is slightly damaged. Mountain Passenger said, it should be from Wu Hun's injuries in the magma sea. Luo Feng nodded. He could feel that the demon extermination armor was indeed slightly damaged. Give it to me, I'll help you fix it, Mountain Passenger said. Yes. Luo Feng didn't act pretentiously. He was even more grateful. The damage is actually very slight. It doesn't cost much. However, this treasure is only second to the most powerful treasures. In the entire Cosmos Sea, there aren't many who can fix it. Mountain Passenger said confidently, if there's one person in the Cosmos Sea who can fix it, it's naturally me. Luo Feng was speechless. His teacher was indeed very confident when it came to crafting treasures. However, since he had a favor to ask of his teacher, he had to coax him. Luo Feng temporarily passed the demon extermination armor to his teacher. However, his teacher wasn't in a rush to fix it. Instead, he said, let's go to that island to take a look. This mysterious space is independent of many other places. It should be the space where one of the strongest warriors of the universe ship live. Luo Feng nodded. Universe ship, a long time ago, accurately speaking, before the two sacred lands were born, before the universe ship was one of the three forbidden grounds, there should have been people who used it. This was because the black token, the green token, and the silver token corresponded to an independent space in the secret room. They were actually special spaces for resting and training. If Leaning Peak World and Flowing Mountain were said to be born naturally, the universe ship's refinement marks were very obvious. Hua! The mountain swiftly flew, very quickly reaching the air above the island in the middle of the lake, after which it slowly descended and landed on the ground, revealing a cave on the mountain. Let's go out and take a look. Mountain Passenger led the way out. Teacher, outside. Luo Feng couldn't help but speak. One had to be careful in the abyss. There's no danger within the island. Mountain Passenger had already walked outside. Yes. Luo Feng could only follow. However, his golden horned beast was still within the blood pyramid. Following his teacher, he walked out of the mountain and landed on the island's surface. This island, it's only 1,000,000 km in diameter, it's not that big. Luo Feng thought. To him, one step was enough to rush from one side of the island to the other. Mountain Passenger, however, looked at the distant palaces. He looked quietly, almost as though he was immersed in it. Luo Feng too turned his head to look. Those palaces, with one look, he could tell that they were all carved from the mountain rocks of the island itself, forming many stone palaces. On the walls of the palaces there were many ancient drawings. There were drawings of huge ships flying in the sky, drawings of warriors killing each other, headless warriors floating in the sky, and below them were drawings of large groups of people kneeling. Many drawings, almost as though they were telling of ancient history. The energy that rushed towards him, that was the energy of another ancient civilization, and just the carvings and drawings were filled with endless longing. That intense longing even affected Luo Feng's state of mind. What a terrifying civilization! What a terrifying warrior! Luo Feng said softly. Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng. You can tell? I didn't see anything else, just that the ship flying in the sky, from the looks of it, that ship is a universe ship. To be able to create such an unbelievable treasure like the universe ship, how could such a civilization not be terrifying? Luo Feng exclaimed, and the carver, his power should be extremely terrifying. Teacher. Luo Feng turned to look at Mountain Passenger. Could it really have been an extremely powerful civilization? Maybe. Mountain Passenger sighed. Even if there was, that's something that happened before the reincarnation era. The two sacred lands universe have existed for eons. When they were here, the universe ship was already broken, and it was already one of the 3 great danger zones. Only a few ancient ruins can be found. My method of creating treasures is also a result of some special encounters, along with my own comprehension. Like the 7 true lords of the God-eyed clan, they too have acquired some ancient inheritances and studied them carefully. They even have some combination attacks. Like the 2 Sacred Lands universe, their battle methods and training methods are very unique. 1. It's because of the teachings of the Sacred Land universe's ancestor, and 2. It's probably because they've discovered many ancient ruins. Sacred Land universe. Luo Feng couldn't help but say, "Teacher, those 2 Sacred Land universe's ancestors, no one has seen them before. This involves the secrets of the universe's strongest warrior." Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng. "Don't think too much about it, work hard and train. When you become the universe's strongest warrior, you will naturally know many secrets. If you haven't reached that level, even if you know, you're just looking for trouble." Luo Feng nodded. Let's go in and take a look." Mountain Passenger headed straight in. Following the door of a palace, they walked in. Luo Feng and Mountain Guest walked side by side as they looked around. The entire palace was filled with ancient carvings. There were countless pictures of life celebrating, pictures of slaughter, pictures of leaders roaring. The countless pictures were revealing the ancient civilization. It was a very mysterious and powerful civilization. Yearning. Luo Feng could feel the yearning within the sculptor. Luo Feng even suspected that these palaces were imitations of famous buildings from the ancient civilizations, because some of the buildings in the sculpted pictures were the same as the ones in the Stone Palace group. After a while, after looking at the many ancient palaces, Luo Feng and Mountain Passenger entered the center. "Teacher." Luo Feng suddenly realized that Mountain Passenger had stopped. Luo Feng followed his gaze, looking over. The distant huge wall had complicated words. Those words were ancient and mysterious. It was the same words the large amounts of treasures sent over. Even though he didn't recognize them, he could clearly understand the meaning. Mistake. This is a mistake. After paying such a huge price, all it brings is death. Death one by one, death one by one. Haha, I've broken through. So what if I've broken through? It's still death, death. The words left on the wall were filled with anger, sorrow, unwillingness, regret. It made Luo Feng and Mountain Passenger stunned for a while. The first chapter has arrived. Brothers, monthly votes and recommendation votes. Awesome. * to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1230. The unknown words on the stone wall carried with it an intense emotion, causing Luo Feng to feel as though he was in a frenzy. It was as though an ancient being was roaring in his ears. Death by death, death by death. No one can escape, no one can escape. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Following which, Luo Feng regained his consciousness. The emotions contained within the words are actually this intense, it even contains his willpower. Luo Feng was speechless, a terrifying being that fell in who knows which era. Just the words he left behind could be like this, just how strong was he? However, these words are the same as the words the treasures use to transmit messages. Supreme treasures are born one after another, but no one knows who created them. Primal universe? Cosmic sea? Or something else? From the looks of it, many of the treasures that have been passed down are probably related to this destroyed civilization. Luo Feng guessed. Luo Feng turned to look at his teacher beside him. Mountain Guest watched silently. With his strength, he wasn't affected by the strong emotions of the words. However, his gaze was somewhat sorrowful. After a while, he slowly shook his head and looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, the mysterious warrior who left these words, is stronger than me, stronger than any of the strongest warriors in the universe. Even your human ancestor might not be a match for him. Maybe the 2 Sacred Lands universe's ancestors could compare. He was so strong, yet his ending was so tragic. Mountain Passenger shook his head. Our cosmic sea currently has 3 rebirth eras and 2 sacred lands universe. After thousands or even tens of thousands of rebirth eras, who knows who and which race will survive? Luo Feng was stunned. Yes. Not much. After another 3 rebirth eras, of all the warriors, probably only the 2 sacred lands universe would survive. To create another sacred land universe was too difficult. Teacher. Luo Feng's gaze was as sharp as a knife. He said softly yet firmly, the hope may be slim, but with the 2 sacred lands there, we all see hope. No matter what, we have to give it a shot. I've only lived for a little over 100,000 years. Compared to a rebirth era, it's incomparably short. If I can reach this step today, then in 100 million years, 10 billion years, or even longer, I'll definitely be able to go even higher. Even if there's no path, we have to find a path. Furthermore, warriors have succeeded before. Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng, smiling and nodding. Haha, I've been affected by those words. Young people are indeed different, full of drive. This drive is what we need. Like those old people who have lived for countless years, unable to break through for so long, their drive has long been worn out. Work hard, who knows in the future I'll need you. Need. Luo Feng's thoughts. Let's go. Let's see what the experts who lived here left behind, said the mountain traveler. Luo Feng followed. Both Luo Feng and Mountain Sitting Guest were extraordinary. As they roamed around, their figures were like flowing lights. With a glance, they could remember everything, so their speed was naturally extremely fast. Luo Island was Ning sect as God. But there isn't a single plant on this island, not a single treasure, just endless palaces. Luo Feng thought to himself. Suddenly, the mountain guest in front of him took a step forward and with a so, entered the 3rd palace in the distance. Luo Feng, come here. Mountain Passenger's voice was filled with excitement. Luo Feng increased his speed and arrived at the palace in an instant. In the huge courtyard of the palace, there were some elegant decorations and carvings. There was also a huge decorative stone wall in the courtyard. The stone wall was about 1,000 meters tall and 2,000 meters long. The entire stone wall emitted an incomparably powerful energy. This is... Luo Feng could see with a glance that the stone wall had countless tiny engravings on it. The countless engravings seemed to be embedded in the stone wall. The stone wall was like their nest, finally forming a huge 3D engraved engravings. Rumble. An energy rushed towards Luo Feng's consciousness. Originally, there was only a stone wall in front of them, but now everything changed. The stone wall seemed to contain a world, and there were countless life forms in that world. There were stone life forms, metal life forms, flesh life forms, billions of life forms, and all of them were kneeling in a single direction. They were worshipping, and their mouths uttered the same words, devil puppet, demon puppet. The sound was like a tsunami. Luo Feng, wake up. A powerful god energy rushed towards Luo Feng, causing him to wake up. Teacher. Luo Feng turned to look at his teacher. Within, he was filled with shock. It was too terrifying. What technique was this? He had studied the engravings, and had carefully studied the miniature universe engravings before. However, the miniature universe engravings, compared to the vast and mysterious engravings on the stone wall, was like comparing a flame to a star. And Luo Feng was certain that the scene he saw before was caused by the engravings on the stone wall. And the being that created the engravings, if he truly unleashed that technique, would definitely be able to make trillions of life forms submit. At least the Universe Lord wouldn't be able to resist it and would instantly become his slave. You sure are daring. The moment you arrived, you immediately looked at the engravings on the stone wall. This engravings was left behind by an ancient being. It's profound and unfathomable. Even I can only understand a little of it. Mountain Passenger pointed to the side. I'll let you look here first. Luo Feng followed the direction his teacher pointed. It was the courtyard wall. There were some words left behind on it. With one look, one could tell that it was left behind by the same being as the crazy words he saw before. I've finally broken through. However, death will still come soon. I can't accept it. I regret it. However, it's too late, it's all too late. One by one, they die. I've reached a new level and comprehended my strongest technique. However, it's too late. This engravings represents my pinnacle, my pinnacle. Short words. It seemed as though when writing this, the hatred wasn't as strong anymore. There was only sadness. Luo Feng looked at the words on the wall. He understood immediately. The engravings on the stone wall from before actually represented that being's pinnacle. This isn't the first time. Mountain Passenger said. In the three great danger areas, like the core areas, there will always be historical remains. Some of them were left behind by countless absolute beings from before the reincarnation era. Of the historical remains I've seen, including this one, there are a total of 9 examples. Some have great uses while others have no use at all. Luo Feng nodded. Even he, who had obtained Jie Fan Zi's historical remains, found this too. A few of the strongest beings that could enter the core areas of the 3 great danger areas, it wasn't strange for them to find many historical remains. This being only wanted to prove himself. Mountain Passenger shook his head. He didn't have the intention to inherit it. If he did, even if he didn't give detailed instructions, he would at least leave behind 10 engravings, from the lowest to the highest, so that later generations could study them. However, he directly left behind the most heavenly engravings here. Even I can't train in it, who can? The god-eyed race was once lucky and found a complete inheritance left behind by an ancient being. Mountain Passenger exclaimed. Why don't I have that kind of luck? Luo Feng, I told you not to look at the stone wall. You're looking again. Mountain Passenger couldn't help but say. At this time, Luo Feng was looking at the stone wall. However, he was only looking at a corner of the stone wall. He wasn't looking at the entire engravings like before. That corner was about 1/10,000th of the entire engravings. Countless miniature engravings formed together, even piercing through the stone wall. It gave off a feeling of the universe being the basic particles, and the basic particles forming life. Those miniature engravings, every one of them was very beautiful. The countless miniature engravings construction made Luo Feng completely immersed. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, space? Merging the origin laws? Bullshit. None of them. This is a completely different, even more exquisite and unfathomable. Luo Feng was completely shocked. Suddenly, Luo Feng, wake up! Mountain Passenger shouted. Luo Feng turned to look at his teacher. Teacher, I'm not affected this time. I'm very awake. You've been looking at it for over 3 days. Mountain Passenger shook his head helplessly. Don't tell me I've been standing here the entire time? Even though these engravings are mysterious and unfathomable, they're not on the same path as me. 3 days. Luo Feng was stunned. He was completely immersed in it. Time passed really quickly. Teacher, these engravings are incomparably profound. I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to understand them even after 1 trillion years. However, I've started from the most basic comprehension. It's allowed me to have some understanding of the engravings. My engravings have been stuck at the pinnacle of the universe night for a very long time. I feel that this is my chance to break through. Mountain Passenger laughed. Haha, that's right. It's useless to me. However, you're also walking on the engravings path. The engravings path requires you to observe more engravings and study more. Only then will you have a chance of breaking through. You've been here for 3 days. I've also looked at it for 3 days. I've comprehended some things too. I've comprehended the 5 great engravings. Take a look. Hua! Mountain Passenger pointed at the tall wall of the courtyard. Immediately, countless tiny engravings appeared on the stone wall. They were all huge engravings. Similarly, the 5 great engravings were much more profound than the miniature universe engravings. They were on 5 different positions on the wall. These 5 great engravings were comprehended by me. They all have 1,000th of that absolute art's power. With this as a springboard, your comprehension will be even faster. Mountain Passenger said directly. Luo Feng looked at the 5 great engravings. He couldn't help but be shocked. No wonder he was the one who created the most powerful treasures. His power was indeed terrifying. Stop looking. It's time to leave. Mountain Passenger laughed. This island is very peaceful and there's no danger. You just have to leave a God energy clone here, and you can slowly comprehend it. Do you know there's a huge commotion happening in the outside world? I've already felt the powerful ripples outside. It's probably the strongest people in the universe fighting. The strongest people in the universe fighting? Luo Feng was shocked. Otherwise, why would I wake you up? Mountain Passenger laughed. Take care of your God energy clone here. Even though it's very weak, no one will attack it. It'll be fine. You can completely comprehend it here. Let's go and take a look. If we make it in time, we might even be able to see the scene of the battle. Who knows, the one fighting might very well be the creator of the huge act. P.S. Update complete. Tomato thanks the brothers for your support, to be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 12:31. Hearing that the battle outside could very well involve the creator of the huge axe, Luo Feng couldn't stay still any longer. Teacher, let's hurry and leave, Luo Feng said. At the same time, he turned and looked to the side. Threads of blurry God energy flew out of his body and gathered beside him, forming a human shape. It was a clone. Like the Universe Knights, they could easily use the God energy incarnation technique. Undyings, however, found it hard to use this technique, as their God energy was very weak. If they split too little, they wouldn't even be able to maintain their consciousness. If they split too much, like splitting 50% of their body, it would cause the body's battle strength to be very weak. This resulted in the God energy incarnation technique being rarely seen among the Undyings. However, it was much easier for the Universe Knights to use it. Just like when the primal planet opened, many of the Great Alliance's knights entered. Many of them left their incarnations behind. All right. Let's leave now. Mountain Passenger didn't hesitate. A few seconds later, a towering green mountain rose into the air and flew high up into the sky. Immediately after, the mountain guest displayed the huge mysterious pattern and activated the hidden space. Then, he was directly teleported out. This secret space. There was only a lake, an island and a God energy incarnation left. Endless ice layer land, the Green Mountain appeared once again. So, the Green Mountain swiftly flew into the distance, completely ignoring any danger. Compared to the other places in the abyss, that secret space is simply paradise. Luo Feng exclaimed, "There's no danger, it's very peaceful, no wonder that absolute being from back then stayed there. And the methods to enter and exit are very profound, I've seen teacher use it before, yet I still can't learn it. When you become the strongest in the universe, you'll be able to learn it." Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng. Right, let me remind you, your God energy incarnation best stay there and study it well. Don't suddenly disperse it. I don't have the time to send you in. Understood. Luo Feng smiled. With his engraved engravings technique, he might be able to fight against the Universe Lords. However, compared to the strongest experts in the universe, compared to the ancient existences that were even more terrifying than the strongest experts in the universe, he was still too inexperienced. Since he could study that existence's strongest technique this time, he naturally wouldn't give up so easily. In any case, it's just a divine power incarnation. At most, I'll just live there forever. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. No matter what, I have to study it thoroughly. My secret technique is completely dependent on it. Shwa, shwa, shwa. As they spoke, the speed of the mountain peak became increasingly faster. It had already broken through 100 times the speed of light and continued to soar upward. Wow! Luo Feng also noticed the mountain peak's extreme speed. Teacher, you're advancing at such a high speed that you've broken through the limits of the laws of circulation. It will cause quite a commotion and will be discovered by the strongest experts in the universe. Luo Feng couldn't help but to ask. Mountain Traveler sat there and leisurely poured himself a cup of fruit wine. Do I have to fly over slowly? By the time you get there, the battle will have already ended. But Luo Feng was speechless. 100 times the speed of light would probably take a few days. A few days? The battle between the strong was already fast. Even the strongest in the universe would have to fight for half an hour. Of course, this was excluding the chase battles. Some of the strong would chase and flee. It was normal for a chase to take thousands or even tens of thousands of years. However, when it came to a real battle, the time was usually very short. If he was slow, he wouldn't make it in time. If he was fast, he would be discovered. Even if I'm discovered, so what? Mountain Traveler raised his cup and tasted it, praising, Come, this wine is not bad. It was given to me by a good friend from the second reincarnation. Try it. Luo Feng laughed involuntarily. Since his teacher wasn't afraid, what was there for him to worry about? A wine given to me when I made a treasure? I have to try it. Luo Feng walked up. Mountain Traveler's speed rose rapidly. 1,000 times the speed of light, 10,000 times the speed of light, 100,000 times the speed of light. Wherever it passed, it was vast and powerful. Luo Feng drank 2 mouthfuls. Rumble, a slight tremor caused Luo Feng's expression to change. I've arrived. Mountain Traveler stood up. With a swipe of his right hand, the surrounding scenery became transparent. The entire mountain was no longer obstructing his vision. Luo Feng looked out. In the distance, he could see an incomparably glaring light. The surrounding raging winds had long dissipated. The lava flow had long stopped flowing. In front of the universe's strongest battle, these disunited universe boats naturally carried energy that was obviously weaker. That powerful ripple caused Luo Feng to tremble. I only felt the tremor when I got here. And teacher felt it when he was in the secret space. Luo Feng understood the difference between himself and the universe's strongest. After which, he didn't think about anything else and looked carefully. He wanted to see clearly if the creator of the huge axe was in the distance. Ah! Mountain Guest exclaimed in shock. One of the 2 parties fighting is indeed the holy-eyed race, the 3rd true lord and the 6th true lord. However, the other is actually Jin Huang. Jin Huang? Luo Feng had heard of him before. Jin Huang, the universe's strongest. His title was the Jin Huang Demon God, also known as the Jin Huang Boy. He was originally one of the 7 pinnacle races of the second reincarnation era. However, due to a special encounter, his life form changed. He looked like a demon child that was carved out of gold. He had a total of 13 arms, and could even split into 13 bodies. Even though the Dream Eclipser race only had one strongest warrior in the universe, with the power of the Jin Huang Demon God, the Dream Eclipser race was still one of the pinnacle races of the second reincarnation era. It's Jin Huang. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, the one fighting the God-eyed race isn't Huge Axe. If because of this matter, Huge Axe and the God-eyed race fought, even if they won, it would be fine. However, Huge Axe might be injured. At the same time, Luo Feng looked carefully. In the distance, space and time warped. Within that warped space and time, countless shooting stars flashed past. In the center was a huge beast. That beast was tall and majestic, similar to an octopus. A total of 13 tentacles, looking carefully, one would realize that the entire beast's body was formed from the condensation of weapons. The 13 tentacles swept through space and destroyed everything. Rumble! 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 Countless glaring shooting stars smashed into the beast's body. The beast's 13 tentacles madly danced, smashing away the shooting stars. There were also 2 glaring jade lights. These 2 jade lights were over 1,000,000 km long and incredibly sharp. The 2 moved side by side, piercing through the warped space and time towards the beast. The Jin Huang demon god, Luo Feng said softly. The 3rd and 6th true lord. These famous existences all had their own signature treasures. The Jin Huang demon god was unleashing the Jin Huang beast in battle. It was considered second only to the ultimate treasures, comparable to the mad demon destroyer armor. However, it was obvious, when the Jin Huang demon god unleashed it, its power was obviously different from the Lord of 5 Turbid's annihilation godly armor. The 3rd true lord was called the Star Constellation True Lord. What he unleashed was the endless shooting stars. It was a domain-type ultimate treasure. It was called the Star Country. The 6th true lord was called the Blue-Eyed True Lord. What he unleashed were 2 jade lights. In truth, it was a very peculiar soul attack ultimate treasure. It was called the Blue-Eyed True Lord. Teacher, this Jin Huang demon god isn't unleashing an ultimate treasure. He can actually defend against the 3rd and 6th true lord? Luo Feng asked. No. The mountain guest shook his head and laughed. Firstly, Jin Huang, it seems like he's only unleashing the Jin Huang beast. In truth, the Jin Huang beast has a palace-type ultimate treasure within it. Hence, Jin Huang can easily defend against it. The 3rd and 6th true lord aren't using their full strength either. The Star Country leader is only using a domain-type ultimate treasure to casually attack. The 6th true lord is the main attacker. The mountain guest said. And you should know that the 3rd true lord has 2 ultimate treasures. Luo Feng nodded. Yes. The 3 strongest in the universe, the Jin Huang demon god and the 6th true lord, each had an ultimate treasure. The 3rd true lord had 2 ultimate treasures. This made Luo Feng sigh. In the primal universe, there were still the strongest who didn't have an ultimate treasure. However, the strongest who lived even longer in the 1st and 2nd reincarnation eras, they had a higher chance of obtaining an ultimate treasure. Because they know that the Jin Huang demon god has a palace-type ultimate treasure. Even if they let them attack, they won't be able to do anything. Hence, they didn't use their full strength. The mountain guest explained. That Jin Huang wasn't willing to be trampled on, hence he unleashed the Jin Huang beast to defend, but the weird thing is, the 2 god-eyed race's true lords clearly know that the Jin Huang demon god has a palace-type ultimate treasure and can't be killed. Then why don't they give up? They're probably communicating. The mountain guest said. Let me take a look. Rumble. With the Green Mountain as the center, a blurry black light quickly spread into the distance and quickly rushed into the battlefield. Mountain guest. If you're watching from afar, then so be it. Why do you want to interfere? A cold roar resounded. Under the mountain guest's guidance, Luo Feng could also feel it with his divine energy. Mountain guest, don't tell me you're going to fight too? Another voice mocked. 6th true lord, I'm just curious. Why are the 2 of you surrounding Jin Huang and attacking him? You know that he has a palace-type ultimate treasure, but you can't do anything to him. Why don't you give up? The mountain guest laughed. As for the 3rd true lord asking me if I'm going to fight, I don't like fighting and killing. I'll just watch from the side. You haven't said why you're bothering him. Humph, this Jin Huang took the godly extermination armor and silver wings. If he doesn't hand over the 2 treasures, how can we let him leave? That's right, the 2 of us can't do anything to him, but the other 2 true lord ranks of the Holy-Eyed clan are about to arrive. Even if he has the protection of the palace, the 4 of us can seal him. Blue Eyes Star. A loud voice resounded. The 2 of you are too much. Firstly, the godly extermination armor and silver wings were lost in the abyss. So what if I got them? Secondly, you guys arrogantly blocked my way and asked me which made me unhappy. That's why I said I got them. However, in reality, I didn't get the godly extermination armor or silver wings. The two of you just didn't believe me. You think we'll believe you? The sixth true lord roared. Just because I'm here, you think I'll get them? That mountain guest is here too. Maybe he got them too. The loud voice resounded. Even if I said I got them, the two of you would believe me? Mountain guest mocked. P.S. Here's the first chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1232. Mountain Passenger, you are the top master crafting treasures in the universe. See. Why would you need to come here to find the silver wings and armor? If you want them, you can craft them yourself. The third true lord's voice was casual. And you are a lone traveler. What's the point of coming here? On the contrary, Jin Huang is responsible for an entire race. Sitting Mountain Passenger immediately smiled. However, Demon God Jin Huang was already furious. I said I didn't, but you didn't believe me. His childlike voice became even sharper. Since you don't believe me, I can't be bothered to make you believe me. I, Jin Huang, am afraid of you? I'm afraid of the holy-eyed race? Suppressing and sealing me, haha, come on. Everyone knows how powerful the 7 true lords of the holy-eyed race are when they work together. I believe you have the means to suppress and seal me. However, even if you suppress and seal me, you can at most suppress me until this reincarnation is destroyed. When this reincarnation is over, all of you from the first reincarnation era will be destroyed. When that time comes, I will naturally be able to come out again. As for my race, they live in my small universe, they are extremely safe. Jin Huang was obviously going crazy. The strongest in the universe was extremely proud. Being bullied like this, how could he not be angry? No matter how you argue, it's useless. The sixth true lord said coldly. In the depths of the distorted space-time, countless stars turned into streams of light and smashed toward the golden brilliance beast. Occasionally, there were even 2 beams of jade light that broke through the air. Even if Jin Huang fought with his life on the line, he might be able to escape. However, the suction force of the abyss was shocking. He had to give it his all to escape. If he was constantly attacked by the Star Country, he wouldn't be able to escape at all. As time passed, the two sides continued to fight. Teacher, the treasures weren't taken by Jin Huang. However, the holy-eyed race. Luo Feng frowned. Umph. Mountain Passenger snorted. You think the holy-eyed race is after the treasures? To their entire race, it's just 2 treasures. Moreover, they aren't the strongest, so what? They are now surrounding Jin Huang and not letting him escape. Jin Huang taking the treasures is just an excuse. What they really want to do is to attack Jin Huang to show that the holy-eyed race is inviolable. Kill the chicken to warn the monkey? This phrase appeared in Luo Feng's mind. The first reincarnation era is about to reach its end. The holy-eyed clan was so strong, how could they be willing to be annihilated? He will definitely struggle crazily, and this is just the beginning, Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng thought. Struggle crazily? Teacher, should we wait here? Luo Feng was hesitant. If this continues, it might take a long time until the other 2 true lord ranks arrive, then we'll have 4 true lord ranks. Wait, of course we have to wait. How can we miss such a wonderful event? The mountain traveler said. Luo Feng was worried that the 4 true lord ranks would make a move on teacher mountain traveler. However, how intelligent was his teacher? Of course he could guess that since he dared to come here, he definitely had something to rely on. Luo Feng didn't say anything more. In the 9th abyss. Such powerful fluctuations. The towering giant axe was advancing at high speed. The creator of the giant axe had long sensed the fluctuations, but in order to avoid being discovered, he had been approaching at nearly 100 times the speed of light. The ones fighting should be the strongest in the universe. Although he was not afraid of fighting, but the creator of Great Axe didn't want to be too arrogant. Time flew by. The two divine masters besieged the Golden Radiance demonic god, while Mountain Traveler watched the battle leisurely from afar. Who? Come out! An angry roar suddenly resounded. It was the third true Lord Star-Lord. His voice rumbled and spread in all directions, even passing through the domain of Mountain Guest. It caused Luo Feng and Mountain Guest's eyes to light up as they looked outside in anticipation. Mountain Guest even laughed and said, "Looks like another strong expert has arrived. Interesting, interesting." What? The sharp aura caused the stars to fly away. A towering giant axe flew in majestically. Simultaneously, a rough voice resounded. "The Star-Lord is indeed powerful. I've heard that among the 7 true lords of the God-eyed race, in terms of strength, the first true lord is number 1, and the third true lord is number 2. You're most proficient in domains. This is the first time we've met, yet you're able to discover me. You're indeed worthy of your reputation." Giant Axe. The 6th true lord immediately roared. Giant Axe? The third true lord's voice was cold. "Good. Ha ha ha, even the giant axe is here." The Golden Radiance demon god laughed loudly. "Interesting, interesting." Mountain Traveler laughed too. At this time, the strongest of the 5 great universes were gathered here. The arrival of the giant axe made the other 4 rather happy. Only Luo Feng was shocked and anxious. "Why is the creator of the giant axe here? Is it because of me? This is troublesome. Those 2 true lords are extremely powerful, and they work together. That Golden Radiance demon god has a palace-type treasure. His defense is the strongest. However, the creator of the giant axe can't hold his ground." Luo Feng was worried. The giant axe was the pillar of humanity. The only true pillar. The ancestor was suppressed forever and couldn't come out. If anything happened to the giant axe, he would be in deep trouble. The 3rd and 6th true lord were indeed happy. They wanted to attack the Golden Radiance demon god, but he had the Black Stone Shrine, making him hard to deal with. Even though they saw Mountain Traveler, even though the Golden Radiance demon god was hard to deal with, Mountain Traveler was even harder. Hence, they didn't even suspect anything, saying that Mountain Traveler couldn't get it. As the saying goes, pick the softest persimmon. The creator of the giant axe was obviously easier to deal with. That was because he didn't have an ultimate treasure. Ha ha ha, giant axe. The 3rd true lord's voice pierced through space and time. The 2 treasures have fallen into the 9th abyss. Only you humans, my god-eyed race and the Purple Moon Sacred Land know about this. The first to arrive should be us 3. I guessed long ago. The one most likely to get the 2 treasures was you, Giant Axe. However, I didn't notice you, hence I thought it was the Golden Radiance demon god. I didn't get it. The creator of the giant axe said directly. Just because you say you didn't get it? The 3rd true lord said directly. You little primal universe humans dare to go against my god-eyed race. Whether it's to steal the treasures or that human Luo Feng killing Wuhan, you humans deserve to die and be exterminated. The creator of the giant axe's eyes gleamed coldly. Exterminated? If you die, the primal universe humans will naturally be exterminated. The 3rd true lord said coldly, after I kill you, let's see who else dares to go against my god-eyed race. Luo Feng, who was sitting in the mountain, was filled with rage. Wuhan wanted to kill him, so why couldn't he kill him instead? And that god-eyed race actually wanted to take advantage of the situation to show their might, using the seemingly weak primal universe humans to show their might. He couldn't help but panic, turning to look at Mountain Passenger. Teacher, the creator of the giant axe is humanity's only pillar. He cannot fall, please help teacher. I only care about you. As for humanity's rise and fall? It has nothing to do with me. Mountain Passenger shook his head. Luo Feng was stunned. Just watch. The strongest of the universe won't fall so easily. Mountain Passenger said. The two true Lord ranks surrounded the Golden Radiance demon god and delayed for so long. However, at this moment they instantly attacked. Haha, before you wanted to suppress and seal me, now you want to kill Giant Axe. Haha. The Golden Radiance demon god's childish voice was filled with mockery and disdain. With me here, do you think you can succeed? Giant Axe, let's join forces and teach this god-eyed race a good lesson. Let them know that the strongest of the universe aren't so easily bullied. All right. In the distance, the creator of the giant axe with disheveled hair wielded the black giant axe. Black light extended from the giant axe and covered his entire body, immediately forming a layer of armor. Dong! 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 The sounds resounded one after another, almost like a drumstick hitting one's heart. All the stars that were flying at high speeds all stopped. At the same time, a blurry silhouette emitting a blinding light appeared in mid-air. He smiled, seeming very benevolent. Countless stars stopped. At this moment, this blurry smiling man seemed like the only true god in the boundless space and time. He then laughed softly, with a thought, the eternal kingdom will appear. Pung! A star split open and swiftly transformed, becoming a four-hooved horned beast. Pung! Another star split open, instantly transforming into a two-headed snake-type mutant beast. Pung! 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 Countless stars split open, and millions of strange beasts appeared. These countless strange beasts all prostrated themselves, facing the misty man, prostrating themselves before him, letting out hoarse cries. That absolute pressure caused the entire universe space to freeze. Luo Feng watched from afar within the green mountain peak, and felt the pressure. At the same time, he recalled the scene in the secret space where trillions of beings knelt within the demon puppet technique. It felt very similar. Even though the move before him was simple, it already had that style. The god-eyed race once obtained a complete ancient inheritance. Hence, their battle style is also that of that powerful civilization. Mountain Passenger said, it's very similar to what you saw before. Of the 7 true lords, the third true lord's strength is indeed number 2. This move alone is impressive. Mountain Passenger exclaimed, with this pressure, that Golden Radiance's movement speed will be extremely slow. It won't be able to join forces with the giant axe. The Golden Radiance beast struggled with all its might, wanting to fly. However, its speed was ridiculously slow. It roared anxiously, Giant Axe, this pressure is too terrifying. This is probably the ancient inheritance of the god-eyed race. Be careful. The creator of the giant axe wielded the black godly axe. However, the huge blurry figure floated in mid-air and laughed lightly. Giant Axe, this is the second time I've gone all out. The last time was when the 7 true lords joined forces to kill Kong Luo of the second reincarnation. Without an ultimate treasure, you'll definitely die. If an ultimate treasure wasn't used, one wouldn't be able to see it from the surface. Blue-eyed true lord. The blurry figure said, make your move. Okay. The 6th true lord's voice resounded. The blurry figure smiled and said softly, Eternal Kingdom, billions of star beasts combine, eternal true God. A peculiar music started to seep into one's soul. 2 beams of jade light started to shine in the endless space. That was the blue-eyed true lord's ultimate treasure, the blue-eyed godlight. The 2 beams of light had complicated engravings on them. At the same time, they shot out trillions of light towards the star beasts. True God! True God! True God! Hundreds of millions of strange beasts raised their heads and roared at the same time. Then, with a swoosh, they quickly gathered towards the azure divine light. The trillions of star beasts formed their bodies. The blue-eyed godlight was the soul. The ancient technique was the core, it formed an endless majestic beast that stood in mid-air. It had 9 huge heads, 36 pairs of wings, 108 pairs of claws and 9 different tails. It formed this huge beast, as it stood in mid-air. The origin laws had long dissipated. The pressure it emitted was even stronger than the strongest warriors of the universe. Silence. Complete silence. The golden radiance demon god was silent and no longer struggling. The creator of the giant axe stared hard at the majestic beast. Luo Feng, who was in the stone peak, was shocked and anxious. Mountain Guest too was shocked. Eternal true God. The third true lord pointed at the creator of the giant axe. Kill him. P.S. Tomorrow is a rest day, Saturday. There will be a new chapter tomorrow night. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1233. The 9 heads of the eternal real God were either ferocious, cold, roaring, laughing cunningly, or growling. The eyes of every head were looking in different directions of the surrounding void. Wherever the eyes landed, the universe's space would be completely frozen. Even the power of the strongest expert in the universe would not be able to shatter the frozen space. Purring! 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 The eternal real God stepped on the void, and every step caused the void to tremble. 108 pairs of hooves stepped on the void in unison, creating a sound that was incomparably uniform. The surroundings were silent. None of the strongest beings in the universe moved. Even the creator of Giant Axe was holding his divine axe and waiting silently. The huge axe is just a little fellow from the 3rd reincarnation era. He has only been the strongest for a short period of time. If the 2 of us work together, we might be able to kill him. The 6th True Lord said. The 3rd True Lord laughed mockingly. He doesn't even have an ultimate treasure. He might indeed die under this move. In history, there were very few strongest experts in the universe that died in battle. However, the 3rd True Lord and the 6th True Lord saw the possibility of killing the huge axe. Purring! 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 The eternal real God's body was huge. Although he looked like he was stepping on the void slowly, his speed had already exceeded 100 times the speed of light. Very quickly, he arrived in front of the creator of the huge axe. Yeah! Accompanied by a high-pitched cry that contained a soul attack, the eternal real God instantly exploded. His sharp fangs and hook-like claws grabbed towards the creator of the huge axe. Pah! Everywhere he passed, the extremely condensed space collapsed and completely enveloped the creator of the huge axe. Bam! With a crisp sound, the creator of Giant Axe was sent flying with the axe in his hands. You can actually block it. You do have some ability. The figure of the 3rd True Lord smiled and said, but luck only comes once, next time you'll. As expected of the holy-eyed race. The creator of the giant axe abruptly came to a stop. Beneath his disheveled hair, his eyes were filled with battle intent as he laughed. Impressive, this beast true God even has a powerful soul attack. I was caught off guard, and this beast true God managed to gain the upper hand. However, you guys can only gain the upper hand. This is the only time. His voice was rough, but it shocked everyone. He doesn't even put the 3rd and 6th True Lords in his eyes? Mountain Guest exclaimed from afar. Luo Feng slightly relaxed within. Since he dared to say that, it seemed like the life of the great axe creator was no longer in danger. The 3rd True Lord and 6th True Lord were furious. Arrogant! The 6th True Lord roared. What, you want to suppress us from now on? The figure emitting the misty light laughed coldly. I, the true Lord of Stars, am unstoppable in the cosmic sea. Those who dare to be so arrogant in front of me can be counted on one hand. Furthermore, the 6th True Lord and I are teaming up to deal with you, and you dare say that you want to suppress the 2 of us. Haha! What a joke, what a joke! The 9 heads of the eternal true God roared at the same time and shrouded the great axe creator again. In the distance, the wild giant with disheveled hair let out a loud roar, the 12th. What? The divine axe was raised. Suddenly, many great axe images appeared in the surrounding space. Every image was trillions of kilometers wide, almost like a world of its own. A total of 12 giant axe phantoms were scattered in all directions. Under the pressure of these 12 giant axe phantoms, every corner of the extremely condensed universe space began to crack and crack. At this time, each of the 12 giant axes was hundreds of millions of kilometers long. In an instant, the creator of the giant axes seemed to be the core of the universe, following which, his powerful right arm swung forward, swinging the great axe. Immediately, the 12 great axe images swiftly merged into the great axe, causing the entire great axe to emit an extremely glaring black light. The eternal true God's claws also descended. Rumble, space trembled. The creator of the giant axe took a step back, but the eternal real God's 108 pairs of claws took 3 steps back. Complete silence. Even the golden demon god and mountain guest were stunned. The third and sixth true Lord were even more in disbelief. Your great axe is a supreme treasure. It's a supreme treasure. The sixth true Lord suddenly roared, You actually have a supreme treasure. I just got it not long ago, let me test my axe on you. The great axe creator stood in the air, his messy hair floating in the air, but he had an absolute dominance. Your eternal true God is indeed powerful, but compared to my axe, it's still far from it. The blurry third true Lord said slowly, You have a supreme treasure, logically speaking, you shouldn't be able to suppress the eternal true God. This eternal true God was created by me and the sixth true Lord working together, and combining the power of 2 ultimate treasures, along with the comprehension of the ancient inheritance. You actually have the advantage, your mastery of the axe is impressive. You are worthy of the sixth true Lord and my full strength. Oh, you still haven't used your full strength? Come, I haven't used my full strength either. The great axe creator laughed, his laughter causing the air to tremble. Blue eyes. The third true Lord said, Make your move. All right, let this great axe have a look. The sixth true Lord was completely enraged. This was a battle to establish dominance. If the 2 of them working together couldn't even suppress the great axe creator and were destroyed instead, that would be a huge joke. Immediately, the huge eternal true God's body began to emit a blurry green light. Countless green lights began to condense into engravings, caused the entire eternal real God to start changing. Moreover, there were 2 rays of purple light that flew up, and those 2 rays of purple flowing light quickly flew into the eternal real God's body. The eternal true God swiftly changed. Its star hand. Luo Feng watched from afar, shocked as he saw the 2 purple lights fly up. The third true Lord, also known as the Star True Lord. He had 2 supreme treasures. One was the Star Kingdom, and the other was the Star Hand. Of course, the outside world didn't know the names of these 2 treasures. Star Country and Star Hand were the names the third true Lord gave to these 2 treasures, hence it was spread around. The third true Lord's 2 supreme treasures, the sixth true Lord's 1 supreme treasure, they've all been used. Looks like they're really going all out. Mountain Guest put down his wine cup and watched the battle. Real God Xing Chen grew another claw on his back, and it was extremely thick. He was actually able to stand upright. The large number of claws that were originally densely packed fused together, and became only 18 sharp claws. It had 9 heads, and each head was equipped with 2 sharp claws. It was as though there were 9 ferocious gods in one body. Howl, howl, the eternal true God's 9 heads roared even more crazily, its 18 arms were incomparably sharp, its entire body was covered in a layer of purple armor. 3 supreme treasures. Let's work together, combine our techniques, I don't believe you can suppress it. The third true Lord's voice was cold. The creator of the huge axe in the distance looked at the even more terrifying eternal true God. He only shouted 3 words, 13th. He raised the godly axe. Hua, in the boundless space-time, 13 gigantic axe phantoms appeared. Each of the gigantic axe phantoms was like a world of its own. The gigantic axe phantoms even enveloped the distant third Lord True, sixth Lord True, mountain sitting guest, and the others. Swing. The godly axe swung out. Facing the overwhelming purple fists, claws, and palms, the godly axe met them head-on. Pung! In an instant, the creator of the huge axe retreated. The eternal true God obviously had the upper hand. It made the third true Lord and the sixth true Lord relaxed. Impressive, watch my 14th axe. The creator of the huge axe raised the godly axe again. What, there's a 14th axe? How is this possible? The third true Lord and the sixth true Lord were shocked. The moment the 14 axe images appeared, they were like a puzzle. They were completely integrated. It was as though they covered the entire space, causing the endless space to darken. There was no light. It was pitch black. Along with a loud bang, the surrounding space returned to normal. At that moment, the eternal real God was flying away. The giant axe creator's hair was in a mess, and he shouted, "My 14th chop couldn't even kill this eternal real God. My 15th axe. I just created it, let the eternal true God try it." 15th. The creator of the huge axe shouted. Immediately after, the boundless space and time once again darkened. However, following that, within the boundless darkness, the phantom image of a giant axe, glowing with light, appeared. Strangely, this huge axe image made every warrior present, including the weakest Luo Feng, feel as though it came from another world. He touched it. Mountain Guest stood up fiercely, his eyes filled with shock. Ancestor, huge axe, the human's potential is really. Luo Feng was completely shocked by this move. The giant axe phantom that lit up in the endless darkness was so magical, as if it was in another world. That feeling of strangeness deeply shook Luo Feng's heart. He even felt that this axe could probably destroy an entire universe. Of course, Luo Feng knew this was just an illusion brought on by the power. The demon god was stunned too. Without a sound, the axe struck. The boundless spacetime returned to normal. As for the eternal real God, he disintegrated and turned into a large number of stars, 2 rays of jade light and a pair of purple armguard. He actually split the 3 treasures apart. The 6th true Lord was shocked. He actually split the eternal true God apart. The huge axe, is this huge axe another ancestor? The 3rd true Lord's heart trembled. He had fought with the ancestor before and was forced to flee back then. The feeling of helplessness in front of the ancestor once again appeared in his heart. Back then, the ancestor had been suppressed by the primal universe, making many experts in the universe rejoice. The strongest in the other universes were all in absolute shock. All of them had mixed feelings, many thoughts floating through their minds. Only Luo Feng, even though he was shocked, was equally excited. "I've never seen the creator of the huge axe attack. I didn't expect him to be this strong. This is the fortune of humanity." To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1234. I have always lacked a suitable supreme treasure, always lacked it. The giant axe creator stood in the void, holding the divine axe in his hand as he looked into the distance. It's because I don't have an ultimate treasure that I've been keeping a low profile. I'm afraid that I'll bring disaster to the human race if I shine too brightly. The ancestor has helped me greatly. He was suppressed forever because he hoped that I would lead the human race well. 3rd True Lord, 6th True Lord, do you two know what angers me the most? The giant axe creator's eyes lit up, and 2 streaks of light shot through the sky as he let out an enraged roar. You're going to destroy the human race. Exterminate the human race. Exterminate the human race. Your holy-eyed race dares to exterminate the human race. When the ancestor is here, you dare to speak. Today I will let you know the consequences of exterminating the human race. The Creator's voice shook as he held the godly axe and roared, 15th! Go! Go! The third true lord and the sixth true lord were both shocked and angry. However, they couldn't care less and started to run. The axe swung out, boundless darkness descended, and the phantom of the axe glowed brightly. Then, the phantom merged with the godly axe and silently slashed towards the third true lord and the sixth true lord. Rumble, countless stars that stood in the way were split apart. Quick! Xing Chen, stop him! The sixth true lord panicked, but the third true lord said angrily, his attack can even destroy an eternal real god formed by the fusion of three supreme treasures. How can my domain-type supreme treasure trap him? It can't even affect his speed. Quick, let's escape first. You can't escape. The giant axe flew at high speed and chased after them. Its speed continued to soar, reaching 1,000 times the speed of light, 10,000 times the speed of light. Its speed was extremely fast. Moreover, the giant axe shadows were circling around the flying giant axe, wreaking havoc and destroying the countless meteors that were attacking it time and time again. Even though it was a domain-type supreme treasure, it was difficult for the creator of the giant axe to restrict it. Quick, quick, quick! A palace was flying at high speed. That palace was only a peak-level supreme treasure, but the creator of the giant axe used the supreme treasure, the divine axe, to open a path. Coupled with his own strength, how fast was his speed? He's getting closer. Not good. At over 100,000 times the speed of light, the creator of the giant axe caught up in the blink of an eye. Hiding in the palace? Then let me seal you. The creator of the giant axe reached out with his right hand. His right hand suddenly expanded and turned into a giant hand that was millions of kilometers long. Each of the 5 fingers of the giant hand was surrounded by the shadow of the axe, causing the area around the hand to be shrouded in eerie darkness. Let's split up. There's no way to fight back if you hide in the palace treasure. Even an eternal real god couldn't stop him. This is a palace with a top treasure. Once we are captured, we won't be able to fight back. I'm afraid that we will be thrown into a suppression-type palace and suppressed by him. Blue Eyes, you're not strong enough. You're no match for him. Hurry up and enter my world. Alright. If the other party had a suppression-type treasure and was much stronger, then they naturally couldn't continue to hide. Wah! Wah! The palace disappeared into thin air. A man bathed in purple light stood in the void of space, wearing a suit of purple armor. He glared at the creator of Giant Axe and roared in anger, "Giant Axe, we've already escaped, and you're still chasing us?" If it was just the sixth true lord, he would indeed be in danger of dying. But my Xingqian, even if I'm not as strong as you, I won't be in danger. Hand over the 3 Pinnacle Palace level treasures, and the hatred between the Holy-Eyed clan and the humans will be settled. The creator of the Great Axe said in a rough voice, otherwise, I would really be lacking some suitable opponents to train and improve my axe skills. The expression of the third true lord in purple armor became ugly, and he went silent for a long time. Alright, my holy-eyed race respects you and will give you 3 treasures. The third true lord said, a top domain-type treasure, a top palace-type treasure and a top soul illusion-type treasure. Xiao! 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 The 3 streaks of light flew towards the creator of the giant axe. The creator of the giant axe reached out and grabbed the 3 treasures. He glanced at them before putting them away. So, the third true lord immediately turned into a streak of light and left. In the distance, Golden Emperor, as well as Mountain Guest and Luo Feng within the Green Stone Peak were all shocked. The Holy-Eyed race's aura was overwhelming. However, they didn't expect the creator of the giant axe to be so strong, forcing the 2 Holy-Eyed race true lords to lower their heads and hand over the 3 top treasures. Giant Axe, congratulations! The humans of the primal universe are indeed powerful. The ancestor is powerful, Giant Axe is powerful too. Haha, with the treasures in your hands, giant axe, you're actually this powerful. A clear child's voice resounded from the Golden Emperor. Haha. Golden Emperor, please don't leak this news out for now. The creator of the giant axe said from afar. Don't leak? Hee hee, the holy-eyed race suffered a huge loss. If the news doesn't leak, they probably won't spread it out. They probably want the other powers to suffer as well. Giant axe, you're really cunning. Alright, I definitely won't leak it out. The Golden Emperor let out a clear laugh. Mountain guest, please don't leak this news too. The creator of the giant axe turned to look in another direction. That's natural. Mountain guest's voice resounded. The creator of the giant axe nodded, after which his body became a blur, becoming a giant axe and swiftly leaving. The Golden Emperor bid farewell to Mountain Guest and left. The green stone peak too headed towards the exit of the abyss. Within the abyss, the green stone peak was moving at high speed. Teacher. Luo Feng was still filled with excitement, at the same time he didn't understand. He first poured some wine for Mountain Guest. Our giant axe creator is powerful, but is he really powerful enough to kill the strongest of the other universe? Haha, of course he can. Mountain Guest sat there, raising his wine cup and smiling. Back then the ancestor roamed the universe sea, the three great rebirth eras, the two sacred lands universe, no one dared to mess with him. Even the strongest of the other universes fled when they saw him from afar. You say, if he only had the upper hand, would he be able to make the strongest of the other universes act like this? Luo Feng realized. Right, if there wasn't any danger to his life, the ancestor wouldn't have made the strongest of the other universes so afraid. Giant Axe's strength is still a distance away from the ancestor back then, but it's already very close. Mountain Guest exclaimed. Can the creator of the giant axe kill the third true lord? Luo Feng asked. He can't. Mountain Guest said directly. The third true lord has two powerful treasures on him. His strength is ranked second out of the 7 true lords. The giant axe can suppress the third true lord, but it can't kill him. That 6th true lord is a little weaker. He only has a soul attack treasure. If he meets the giant axe, he'll very likely be killed. Since he can't be killed, then why did the third true lord lower his head? Luo Feng asked. Haha. Mountain Guest laughed loudly. Of course he has to lower his head. This giant axe has always been hiding his strength, never truly unleashing it before. He's already so strong, now that he's unleashed his strength, I believe he'll unleash it again and again to battle with the other strong. Previously, he hadn't erupted, and he hadn't fought against experts of the same level to temper himself. Once he fought against the strongest experts of the other universes, it would definitely be beneficial to him. As long as he took another step forward, he would become another ancestor. Since it's like this, it's better to lower his head earlier. He won't lose out. Luo Feng realized. Right. To be able to train to such a level even without unleashing that axe technique. Once he kills and trains, it's indeed possible to improve. Since it's like this, he only asks for 3 extreme treasures? Luo Feng said, this shouldn't be much to the holly-eyed race. Haha, what kind of race do you think the holly-eyed race is? Mountain Guest shook his head. That's the strongest power of the first reincarnation era. Even compared to the 2 sacred lands universe, they're not much different. Even the third true lord can withstand the giant axe, and that first true lord, even if the giant axe improves, he can at most suppress the first true lord. That first true lord could even withstand the giant axe back then. Once the 7 true lords all join forces, they'll be even more terrifying. Plus the holly-eyed race is about to reach its end. The 7 true lords will naturally go crazy, if they really go against the holly-eyed race, even if he's strong alone. How can the entire human race beat the holly-eyed race? I'm afraid the other universe lords won't even dare to enter the universe sea again. This is a grudge to settle. Taking some benefits won't hurt the holly-eyed race too much. The holly-eyed race doesn't wish to provoke the giant axe. The giant axe is also the future of humanity. He doesn't wish to go all out against the holly-eyed race. Mountain Guest said, hence this scene happened. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, humanity's giant axe was strong, but the other universe lords were weak. The moment they went all out, for safety's sake, they would be forced to not dare enter the Universe Sea. If they couldn't even enter the Universe Sea to train, it would be hard for humanity to produce the third strongest warrior in the universe. Even the strongest warriors in the universe have such a huge difference in power. Luo Feng exclaimed. Only the ancestor is more abnormal and special. From what I see, Giant Axe must have received guidance from the ancestor, that's why he's so strong. Mountain Guest exclaimed, otherwise, just based on their own comprehension, it's not very possible for both of them to be this powerful. Ancestor? Luo Feng nodded within. Even though the ancestor was suppressed forever, he could still communicate with humanity, only he probably only contacted Giant Axe, Primal Chaos and a few others. The green stone peak entered the crazy swallowing region. Back then Luo Feng was swallowed in, the swallowing strength was even stronger than Giant Axe's attack. If he wanted to fly out now, he had to go against the swallowing strength. Hua hua, the green stone peak spun, drawing arcs and circles within the abyss as it headed outwards. To leave, one has to resist a portion of the swallowing strength, two has to borrow it. Mountain Guest said, one has to borrow strength, otherwise even the strongest in the universe won't be able to leave. Only then will you be able to leave. The process is very slow, I'm afraid it'll take a few months. In these few months, I'll help you completely repair the Mad Demon Destroyer armor, after which you can continue on your way. Do whatever you need to do. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng said respectfully. After leaving here, he naturally headed towards the black engraved stone pillar to train his willpower. And he had acquired Wu Hun's black item, all the more reason to go there. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1235. The Abyss Black Hole's power was endless. The green stone peak revolved and gradually moved outwards. It was like a sailboat moving against the current, just that it was trillions of times more mysterious. After all, this swallowing power was simply too strong for the strongest in the universe. They didn't dare to resist it directly. Teacher is repairing the Demon Destroyer armor. Luo Feng stood at the peak of the mountain and gazed down at the vast land. And he's using a portion of his consciousness to control the mountain, loneliness. Luo Feng sat there alone, many thoughts floating within him. During the battle with the huge axe creator, he was extremely excited. However, now that he had calmed down, he realized the difference between him and the strongest in the universe. The strongest in the universe are greatly suppressed in the primal universe. In the universe ocean, they are still suppressed. If they aren't suppressed, the gap between them and the universe lords would be even greater. Luo Feng was very clear on how overbearing the suppression was. In the primal universe, if one didn't fight with the universe lord, then the strongest could do whatever they wanted. Their power would still be overwhelming, and the universe origin laws would respect them. However, the moment one fought with the universe lord, that would change. The universe origin laws wouldn't retreat. Instead, it was a very strong suppression, causing the laws to be unable to do whatever they wanted. Instead, the Universe Lord could control space and time, causing the strongest to have no advantage in terms of domains. Of course, when he killed the Yuan Ao Lord, he followed the Universe Origin laws, hence he wasn't suppressed. His God energy was equivalent to a perfect life form Universe Lord's God energy. This was just a small aspect, and there was still the strongest restriction, the upper limit. This was a limit set by the universe origin laws. The strongest in the universe couldn't exceed this limit. The moment they exceeded it, they would be suppressed, just like when the void demon god was shackled by the origin laws back then. The laws disappeared. God energy was restricted. Even the strongest eruption of strength had a limit. Also, after killing a universe lord, they would still be punished and their god body would be heavily injured. With so many restrictions in the primal universe, the universe lords didn't fear the strongest in the universe. A slightly stronger universe lord didn't need to fear the strongest. In the universe ocean, it was different. In the cosmic sea, there were many small universes and primeval universes. The primeval universe was simply too big, so the origin will of the primeval universe was still the strongest. Even the operation of the laws in the vast cosmic sea was affected by it. However, the other regions of the cosmic sea were outside, so the power and restrictions of the primeval universe's origin source were much weaker. There were only two restrictions. First, when the strongest expert of the universe fights with the Lord of the universe, the operating laws do not retreat. This made it so that the strongest experts in the universe couldn't enforce the law with their words. Secondly, the strength of his divinity power was also suppressed to the level of a Lord of the universe with perfect genes. Just these two. As for how much power he could display by relying on treasures and secret techniques, this allowed the strongest experts of the universe to unleash their full power. There was no upper limit. Furthermore, there was no punishment for killing the master of the universe. Comparatively speaking, the cosmic sea was much less restrictive than the primeval universe. Therefore, on the whole, the strongest experts of the universe were all afraid of the primeval universe origin source. Luo Feng sat at the peak of the mountain, thinking about the strongest warrior of the universe, the primal universe willpower, himself and many other relationships. Luo Feng. A voice resounded. Teacher. Luo Feng turned to look. It was actually Mountain Passenger. He immediately stood up. Teacher, weren't you repairing the Mad Demon Destroyer armor? It's been repaired. Mountain Passenger waved his hand and a black armor flew towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked shocked at Mountain Passenger. It's only been 2 days. Just a simple repair, how much effort do you think it would take? Mountain Passenger examined Luo Feng. I saw you sitting there earlier, what were you thinking about? I was thinking about the primeval universe willpower, the strongest in the universe, the universe lord and myself, Luo Feng said. Mountain Passenger was shocked when he heard this, falling silent. After a while, primeval universe origin source, Mountain Passenger exclaimed, his voice filled with complex emotions. Before one becomes the strongest in the universe, one is just a child of the primeval universe. It will protect you. However, the moment one becomes the strongest in the universe, the small universe will leave the primeval universe and live in the cosmic sea. Then the strongest in the universe will be the primeval universe origin source's enemy. Suppression, it has always been suppression. Cycle, every reincarnation era is the primeval universe origin source's nurturing, birth and destruction of all living things. Mountain Passenger exclaimed, you human ancestors are really powerful, actually. Actually what? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Mountain Passenger shook his head. Don't ask. Can't you enter the virtual universe anytime you want? If you're strong enough and attract the attention of the ancestor, you'll be able to converse with him properly. Maybe he'll tell you why he did what he did back then. I'm just guessing, I can't be sure. Luo Feng's heart itched. The ancestor dared to provoke the primeval universe origin source back then. Daring to do that, he definitely had a purpose. A very heaven-defying purpose. However, even his primal Chaos City teacher never told him why the ancestor went against the primeval universe origin source. Don't think so much, it's too far away for you. Mountain Passenger smiled at Luo Feng. Just think about yourself. Once you become the universe lord with the star pagoda in hand, the difference between you and the strongest in the universe will be negligible. Luo Feng shook his head. Even if I become the Universe Lord, in terms of techniques, the difference between me and the strongest in the universe will still be huge. Even though he had seen the demon god and ancestor god fight before, that was in the primeval universe and the power wasn't that great. However, this time, the third true lord, sixth true lord and the creator of the huge axe had truly made him feel the huge difference. You're wrong. Mountain Passenger shook his head. Luo Feng looked at his teacher. The Lord of the Universe is unable to create a secret art of such power. However, the engravings on the Star Pagoda represent an extremely high-level technique. Mountain Passenger smiled. This is why the most powerful treasures are so precious. For example, the first level of the Star Pagoda, back then when you activated the first level, the power of the Star Pagoda was very small. However, when you activated the second level, that second level engravings, its profoundness is already comparable to the Universe Lord's strongest technique. You can't create it, but just activating it makes the difficulty much lower. The third level engravings are already comparable to the strongest in the universe. The fourth level engravings, only the strongest in the universe can create such a technique. Like the huge axe, the ancestor, the first true lord, etc. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. Right. Just activating the engravings, compared to creating a technique of the same level, indeed had a much lower requirement, and the power was actually just as strong. Even with the most powerful treasures as a medium, one could unleash even more power. In the Universe C, there's a method to determine one's strength. Mountain Passenger said. Initial Universe Lords, their life genes are 100 times stronger, and they haven't created the technique yet. This is the first level of the Universe Lords. Normal Universe Lords, their life genes are 1,000 times stronger, and they can also create the ultimate technique, the second level. Above that, there's still the third and fourth levels, like our Primal Universe's Star River Lord, your teacher the Primal Chaos City Leader, the 5 Turbid Lord that you dragged to die with you, are all at the 5th level. Universe Lords with the most powerful treasures are at the 6th level, also the highest level of the Universe Lords. Mountain Passenger smiled. Why is it that with the most powerful treasures, they're one level higher than the Primal Chaos City Leader and the 5 Turbid Lord? It's because the engravings from the most powerful treasures represent a higher level. Luo Feng listened carefully. The 6th level technique, this was the first time he heard of it. A level 6 Universe Lord can match up to the strongest warriors of the universe without the most powerful treasures. Mountain Passenger smiled. Of course, like the creator of the huge axe, even without the most powerful treasures, he could still be stronger than a level 6 Universe Lord. However, I suspect that when Giant Axe used the 15th axe art, he said that he had just created it. My guess is that he obtained the Divine Axe, observed the mysterious patterns of the Divine Axe, and then comprehended them. I'm afraid that he used the mysterious patterns of the Divine Axe to unleash this heaven-defying strike. Mountain Sitting Guest sighed with emotion. That's why he could display such power. Leaving the abyss took close to 3 months. Mountain Passenger also guided Luo Feng, especially as he studied the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. Luo Feng realized that the 5 Turbid Lord's 5 Beast Annihilation was actually a modified move from the 3rd level engravings of the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. Some aboriginals with simple intelligence will also learn to use rocks and sticks as weapons. The difference in intelligence depends on whether or not one knows how to use a weapon. Universe Lords, the strongest warriors of the universe, their weapons are all treasures. Learning to use the treasures, even using the engravings on the treasures to create techniques, hence the famous warriors of the universe will have their own treasures too. Like you call yourself the Milky Way Leader, yet the outside world calls you Silver Wing Leader. Luo Feng understood too. He started to comprehend the mystical inscriptions on the Star Pagoda, the mystical inscriptions on the insane demon god destroying armor, and the mystical inscriptions on the slaying Wu wings. and his own god energy body was in that secret space studying the strongest engravings left behind by an ancient being that was even more powerful than the ancestor and the creator of the huge axe. There was also the 6 great engravings left behind by the mountain-sitting guest. Comparing with each other, this allowed Luo Feng's improvement speed to reach a high speed. The other defensive engravings on the Mad Demon Destroyer armor were all swiftly comprehended. The Golden Right Hand's 3 offensive engravings also swiftly comprehended 2 levels. The 3rd level was also mostly comprehended. He estimated that with a few more months, he would be able to comprehend it. The 3rd level engravings on the right hand of the Mad Demon Destroyer armor isn't as strong as the 3rd level Star Pagoda. However, it has already reached the power of the Universe Lord's strongest technique. The moment you can use it, I estimate your engraving's attainment will almost reach the Universe Lord level. Alright, I'm out of the abyss now. I'm leaving now, don't let this happen again. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng bowed in gratitude, following which a green stone peak and a blood-red palace, the Star Pagoda transformed through the blood cloud pearl, flew in 2 different directions within the endless frozen lake's thunder fire. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1236. The battle in the abyss had a huge impact. However, even though the God-Eyed clan suffered losses, they didn't spread the news. Hence, the other powers in the Universe C didn't know that there was another ancestor-like being in the Universe C. As for the battle in the abyss, the final ownership of the Silver Wing and the extermination godly armor had become a mystery, causing countless warriors to wonder who acquired it. Was it the strongest warrior in the universe who acquired it, and then kept it? That would be a waste of a treasure. And in the following days, Luo Feng didn't hear of the creator of the huge axe having any accomplishments. Right, at that level they would probably fight for treasures or for revenge. Abyss, secret space. Luo Feng, who was dressed in casual clothes, walked on the island. He walked and stopped along the way, looking very relaxed. His consciousness was studying the 6 pictures that the mountain guest left behind. Even though he had only studied for a few days, the 6 pictures were already extremely profound, representing the strongest warriors in the universe. It was enough for Luo Feng to comprehend a lot. This opportunity is hard to come by. I have to study it well, to increase my attainment in the engravings. The stronger I get, the easier it will be for me to comprehend the origin laws. Luo Feng said softly. Once his engravings reach the Universe Lord level, his origin law comprehension would probably be 10 to 100 times faster. Time passed. The God energy body was training, and Luo Feng was passing danger after danger in the universe boat, heading towards his destination. In the blink of an eye, over 300 years had passed. God-Eyed Clan, first small universe. White clouds floated and a gentle breeze blew across the land. 5 Turbid Lord was on the 2nd level of the shrine, sitting before the railing and looking at the endless land. 5 Turbid, 5 Turbid. A silhouette flew over from the distance and stopped. 5 Turbid Lord looked and smiled. It's Yong. Master of Safety and Yong's incarnation flew to the railing and stood beside Lord of 5 Turbid. The God-Eyed Clan had a total of 7 small universes, because the universe lords were scattered throughout these 7. However, in the other small universes, they all had God energy bodies to maintain communication. And Yong and Luo Feng had some grudges, and 5 Turbid Lord had even more. Hence, as they were from the same clan, Yong and 5 Turbid had a good relationship, and now they were even closer. Why do you look so worried? Asked Lord of the 5 Turbid. I have news of that Luo Feng. Yong Emperor said anxiously. The 5 Turbid Lord's eyes gleamed, his eyes filled with killing intent. Ever since Luo Feng dragged him to die with him back then, he had long treated Luo Feng as a true opponent. However, ever since that incident, he had no news of Luo Feng anymore. Even though he used his information network to communicate with the powers of the primeval universe, the response he got was, Luo Feng was very low profile. He didn't make any movements within the human race. So Wu Hun could only endure it. I thought he wouldn't dare to enter the cosmic sea without the silver wings. Tell me, where is he? Lord of Five Muddled asked. It's on the Cosmos boat. Master of Anyong said. What? He's on the Universe boat? Lord of Five Muddled was shocked. He dares to go to the Universe boat? Not only does he dare to go to the Universe boat, he's even in the inner region, and Young Emperor said unhappily. He's already entered the depths of the inner region. Ever since the incident with you back then, he's actually entered the Universe boat long ago. These few years, he's been roaming the Universe boat, it's just that he's been using another identity. Another identity? Lord of Five Muddled was even more suspicious. Gold-ripping Lord. An young emperor emphasized. What, it's him? Wu Hun stared wide-eyed. It's actually him. This Luo Feng actually disguised himself and has been roaming the Universe boat, but how can he be so strong? The Gold-ripping Lord was a Universe Lord that became famous during a treasure fight in the Universe boat over 300 years ago. Before that, no one had seen the Gold-ripping Lord. However, since he dared to enter the inner region of the Universe boat, naturally that proved his strength. Later on, the Gold-ripping Lord himself opened his mouth and said he was called Gold-ripping Lord. Hence, his name spread, and there was such a being in the cosmic sea. This time, it was just a show of strength. In the following 300 years there were 2 treasure fights, both were small fights. However, it proved that the Gold-ripping Lord's strength was barely at the level 4 level. Wu Hun, this time it's in the Rippling Star Ocean. An young emperor said. The Rippling Star Ocean, in terms of danger, isn't any less than the God-destroying stream. And it's even more vast. There are many places where treasures can easily appear. Hence, there are many powers there. And before this, there was a top-level domain treasure that appeared. Naturally, it caused a huge fight. That Gold-ripping Lord too intervened. The fight this time was especially intense. Even our Xia Emperor from this reincarnation era fell. His main body in the end, the Gold-ripping Lord actually went crazy. His strength was even stronger. He should be at the pinnacle of level 4. In one fell swoop, he took that treasure. As there were many strong warriors in the Rippling Star Ocean, a Universe Lord who had personally seen Luo Feng in the Pinnacle World, the Snow Barn Emperor from the second reincarnation era was shocked and shouted out that he was Silver Wing Leader. Only then did the other warriors realize that the Gold-ripping Lord was actually Silver Wing Leader. An young emperor said and couldn't help but shake his head. His enemy shined so brightly, naturally he was unhappy. The reason Luo Feng could hide his identity was actually very normal. After all, a strong warrior's life energy wouldn't change, but his appearance could easily change. And the energy usually had to be seen with one's own eyes to remember. Or maybe there was a virtual universe to simulate that energy for you to sense. The other powers obviously didn't have virtual universes. In the other reincarnation eras, even with virtual worlds, they couldn't completely simulate the Universe Lord, the strongest warrior's life energy. This was very hard to achieve. His strength is actually that strong. Hun frowned. The first time he entered the Universe Ocean, he caused my body to fall. Back then, I had a premonition that this Luo Feng would be my greatest enemy in the future. However, who would have thought that in such a short time? He's actually reached the pinnacle of level 4. What do we do? An young emperor looked at Hun. An young emperor wasn't afraid, he just had a headache. Because of his clone, it was very hard to kill him. However, he had a headache over Luo Feng's current strength. Who would have thought that in a short period of time, without the Silver Wing treasure support, Luo Feng could still display such strong close combat strength? Depart. Hun emphasized, let's go to the Universe boat. But he's already in the rippling star ocean. An young emperor said, "The rippling star ocean is deep within the inner region. From the outer region, we'll have to go through many dangerous places to reach the rippling star ocean. That'll take a very long time. By then, who knows where Luo Feng will be? We'll chase this. If we don't chase now, it'll be even harder in the future." 5 Hun emphasized, "I'll leave immediately. What about you?" "Alright, I'll go with you." And young emperor nodded. 5 Hun nodded. 5 Hun didn't mind bringing An Yong along. Because An Yong had a clone, and because of his god body, his survivability was extremely strong. Hence, he was a great helper to deal with Luo Feng. At least in terms of survivability and delaying the enemy, An Yong emperor was stronger than the archer by a whole level. Luo Feng. 5 Hun's eyes gleamed with killing intent. "The moment we catch him, he'll definitely die." An Yong emperor gritted his teeth. Facing the end of their lives, they could only place their hopes on the strongest of the universe. Hence the universe lords of the first reincarnation couldn't struggle on their own, hence they became even crazier. Time continued to flow, it wouldn't stop because of anyone. In the vast universe see, primal universe, many small universe, countless life forms were born and countless lives were destroyed. To the strong, it was just a moment of silence or maybe a lifetime of other life forms. Even though the 5 Hun Lord and An Yong Emperor chased, they were too far away from Luo Feng. Plus they didn't know Luo Feng's future path. Naturally to catch up was extremely difficult. Even if they did, it would take a very long time. However, this very long time, to the 5 Hun Lord, who had lived for close to 3 reincarnations, wasn't much. 20 years since Luo Feng entered the universe boat. Virtual universe. Within the palace at the peak of Thunder Island. Black engraved stone pillar. The primal Chaos City leader was shocked. "You want to go to the demon pillar to train your willpower? There are many places to train willpower, and there are many closer than the demon pillar. Why are you going there?" Luo Feng nodded seriously. "There are many places to train willpower, however the closer one gets to the demon pillar, the faster the time flows. This way, I can save even more time. Near the demon pillar, maybe 10,000 years would pass, but only 1 year would pass in the outside world. This way, I have enough time to train my willpower, and also enough time to study the origin laws." "Your decisions are getting harder and harder to understand," the primal Chaos City leader exclaimed. "However, I don't understand your improvement either. Since you're about to reach the demon pillar, I won't say any more." The primal Chaos City leader was indeed exclaiming. His disciple, back in the Ripple Star Ocean battle, Luo Feng's name had skyrocketed. The human race was immediately shocked. Even the primal Chaos City leader was shocked. They thought that the low-profile Luo Feng had been hiding because of the loss of the Silver Wing treasure. They didn't expect him to be even more unbelievable. The most shocked were the primal Chaos City leader, the creator of the huge axe, and a few others, because they knew Luo Feng hadn't even stepped into the Universe Lord level. Not even stepping into the Universe Lord level, and he was already at the pinnacle level? This was simply too unbelievable. Because of this, the primal Chaos City leader and the creator of the huge axe personally came to spar with Luo Feng in the virtual universe. Only then did they realize that even though Luo Feng's god's strength was only 100 times that of a universe lord, his techniques, however, were extremely strong. According to Luo Feng's own simulation of the Demon Destroyer armor in the virtual universe, he unleashed his techniques. He had already fused his strongest techniques. Even the primal Chaos City leader and the 5 Turbid Lord weren't much stronger than this in terms of technique. Only then did Luo Feng publicly announce that he was walking the engraving path. Even though he was merely a Universe Lord, he had already created the Universe Lord's strongest techniques, and the 3rd level that allowed him to control the treasures. These few hundred years, because of studying the 6 great engravings and the ancient engravings, especially during the Ripple Star Ocean battle, during the life and death battles, I've gained some insight. Immediately, my engraving's path finally broke through the bottleneck and reached the Universe Lord level. I've already created the Universe Lord's strongest technique, gold splitting, and can even control the 3rd level of the Demon Destroyer armor. Activating the 3rd level of the Demon Destroyer armor, even though my God strength is weaker by a level, my strength is at the pinnacle of the level 4. If I step into the Universe Lord level, with my God strength replenished, I'll be at the pinnacle of the level 5. Comparable to the Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 12:37. At the level of the top experts, the difference in divine power was almost negligible. What they valued more was a treasure that suited them and a powerful secret technique. Only Luofeng, in terms of treasures and techniques etc., was comparable to the pinnacle of Universe Lords. Only his God energy was weaker, hence his strength had dropped by a level. I know you have your own plans. You just lost the Silver Wing treasure, and now you have another armor that's only second to the absolute treasures. You're clearly just a Universe Knight, yet in terms of engravings, you're already at the Universe Lord level. The Primal Chaos City Leader shook his head and smiled, after which he instructed, I won't stop you, however you have to be careful. If there's any danger you can't handle, tell me and Huge Axe. Yes. Luofeng nodded. In the eyes of Huge Axe and the Primal Chaos City Leader, he was indeed special. Countless treasures? His strength improving immeasurably? With your current improvement speed, once you truly become a Universe Lord, with some training, you'll be on par with me. The Primal Chaos City Leader looked at Luofeng, his eyes filled with anticipation. Ever since the battle in Rippling Star Ocean a few hundred years ago, Luofeng's explosion had shocked both him and Huge Axe. First, he personally went to spar with Luofeng, after which he and Huge Axe went to meet the ancestor and discuss with him. Even though he was suppressed forever, he was still able to unleash the heaven-defying technique of the virtual universe. Naturally, he was able to communicate with Primal Chaos and Huge Axe. The result of that discussion was that both the ancestor and Huge Axe were certain before Luofeng's rise. Primal Chaos was the next most likely to become the strongest in the universe, followed by Darkness Lord and Pungong Leader. However now, according to the probability of becoming the strongest in the universe, it would probably be the Primal Chaos City Leader, Luofeng, Pungong Leader and Darkness Lord. Both the ancestor and Huge Axe, these two beings had high hopes for Luofeng. Since then, the Primal Chaos City Leader naturally valued this disciple more and more. If his teacher and disciple all became the strongest in the universe, that would be a great story in the Universe C. One had to know that the ancestor was Primal Chaos teacher, Primal Chaos was Luofeng's teacher. For 3 of them to become the strongest in the universe? Just thinking about it, the Primal Chaos City Leader was filled with anticipation. Anticipating within, the Primal Chaos City Leader smiled. And with your comprehension of the universe, once you become a Universe Lord, you'll be able to quickly attempt to become the strongest in the universe. However, regarding this, I don't have any suggestions. After all, every path to become the strongest is different. I'm also searching. Luofeng was shocked within. Yes. It would not be difficult for him to become a Lord of the Universe. This was because his mastery of mystic arts was at the top, and his comprehension of the laws of nature would be smooth sailing. In addition, he had already comprehended the heart of the Beast God. Becoming a Beast God in the future would be very easy. However, it was too difficult to become the strongest in the universe, because every strongest person in the universe had to walk a different path. The Mysterious Pattern School, Beast God School, and others, all of them had been walked by their predecessors. They all needed to be abandoned. As long as an ancestor passed by, it would have to be abandoned. In this way, the road was very narrow. Haha, too far away. The primal Chaos City Master chuckled. To you, it's still too far away. Focus on becoming the master of the universe first. Yes. Luo Feng replied. If there's any trouble or danger, you can tell me and Greytax. Now, you no longer just belong to your Earth lineage. You belong to yourself. It also belongs to the human race. The primal Chaos City Master laughed. Go, go. I'm not worried about the black stone pillars. That's the territory of those 3 old fellows. Your disciple understands. I shall leave. Luo Feng immediately left, his silhouette disappearing. The space of the black stone pillars was one of the few areas in the inner region of the spaceship that was free of danger. Of course, the danger of experts killing each other didn't count. Where there were experts, there would be grudges, and where there were grudges, there would be fights. The entire space was held up by 16 black stone pillars that were over 1,000 light-years tall. Besides the regions near the pillars being frozen and unable to teleport, the other regions of the space could still teleport. Also, the black stone pillars were natural ruins. These 16 over 1,000 light-years tall pillars had extremely profound black engravings on them. The level of the engravings, even the strongest warriors of the universe couldn't comprehend them. However, just like the ancient existence's strongest technique, Luo Feng saw in the secret space, because he didn't follow the prescribed order. He didn't go from easy to difficult, hence he couldn't understand the black engravings on the stone pillars at all. Every single black stone pillar was filled with power, even more powerful than the strongest treasures. Just the 1,000 light-years length alone was obvious. And to this day, not a single expert had been able to personally touch the black patterned stone pillar. This was because the closer one got to the black patterned stone pillar, the more terrifying the will impact would be. Even the strongest expert in the universe would not be able to reach the black patterned stone pillar. However, no matter what, this was a natural ancient ruin that could be easily seen. The engravings were extremely high level, and there were over 1,000 light-years of stone pillars. There were even 16 of them. Naturally, it attracted the attention of the old fellows. Safety, being able to teleport, fast time flow, ancient ruins, many factors made this place a place for warriors to rest and train in the depths of the universe boat. The mist pervaded the area, with no end in sight. The silver-armored Luo Feng used 2 short-distance teleportations, and the mist before him became much thinner. This was because within the black-patterned stone pillar space, only the highest and lowest point and the surrounding areas had the thickest mist. The 16 black-patterned stone pillars in the center had no mist at all. There was another saying, the area where one couldn't teleport had almost no mist at all. Xiao! A silver rainbow light pierced through space. Haha, after spending 620 years, I've finally reached the black stone pillar space. Luo Feng became a rainbow light. His face was filled with smiles. He was extremely happy within. However, Mountain Guest and Primal Chaos City Leader were right. Battle is the best training. After entering the universe boat, I've been through many dangerous places and many life and death battles. This allowed me to finally break through during the Star Ocean battle. Even though he wasn't a universe lord. However, in terms of engravings, he was already at the universe lord level. In the years after the battle in the rippling Star Ocean, he had even created a set of the Master of the Universe's strongest mystic arts. This was comparable to the strongest mystic arts of the miniaturized universe, and it was an offensive mystic art. Most importantly, he had created it himself, and it had proven his ability. Back then, he used the identity of the Master of Gold Split. Later on, after he created this strongest secret technique, he named it Gold Split. Gold splitting was a technique he created himself. However, his strongest technique was the 3rd engraving on the right hand of the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. He named it God Destroyer. Luo Feng turned to look into the distance. Even though he had become a silver rainbow and was flying at high speed, he was still releasing the Snow Fire World. The Snow Fire World was one of the many treasures he had acquired during his time in the Universe Boat. It was a top-grade domain treasure. It was because of it that many warriors fought over during the Star Ocean battle. I actually met someone from the Great Alliance. Luo Feng smiled. Milky Way leader. A dark green rainbow flew over. Even though it was extremely fast, Luo Feng could clearly see the other party's appearance. He was one of the alien universe lords in the Hong Alliance, Master Swallowhawk. Master Swallowhawk had a high position in the Hong Alliance because he was extremely strong. He was on the same level as the Ice Peak Lord, and he usually roamed the inner reaches of the 3 danger zones. He had many tricks up his sleeves, and was very good at staying alive. He was also very difficult to deal with. I've long heard that Milky Way leader acquired a new domain treasure. It's covered in endless blue flames. The moment my domain discovered it, I suspected it was Milky Way leader. Hence I rushed over and it was indeed you. Haha, to be able to discover our great alliance in the Universe Boat, I'm really happy. A dark green bird spread its wings, and there were golden feathers on its head. At the same time, it spoke in the human language through voice transmission. Within the Great Alliance, most of the conversations were in human common language. To be able to see Swallow Eagle Leader, it's a joyous occasion. Luo Feng said happily. I've long heard about Milky Way Leader's matter. The Arrow Master and 5 Turbid Master's clones all fell. After that, Milky Way Leader's identity as the Gold Ripping Master, along the way, you've been constantly improving. I'm afraid I'm no longer your match. Swallow Eagle Leader praised. Luo Feng smiled. The other party was talking about his own actions. Moreover, it was an absolute warrior that came to suck up to him. Naturally he was happy. Swallow Eagle Leader is too humble. Luo Feng smiled. I wonder why Milky Way Leader has come to this black patterned pillar space? Swallow Eagle Leader was beside Luo Feng. The two of them became 2 rainbows and flew together. Using their divine energy as a medium, they conversed. I'm here to borrow the black patterned pillars to train my willpower. Luo Feng said directly. Ah! Swallow Eagle Leader was shocked. Train willpower? The universe sees 3 great reincarnation eras and 2 sacred land universes. There aren't many who specially come here to train willpower. Most of them are here to rest temporarily, or to study the engravings on the black patterned pillars. I've been here for quite some time. There are some things I have to tell you, Milky Way Leader. Please speak, Swallow Eagle Leader. Luo Feng said. The black patterned pillar space is extremely safe. Along with the engravings from the ancient ruins, it's extremely profound. Hence there's always been a group of warriors here. Especially the 3 strongest existences. Master Swallow Eagle said, those 3 existences are the strongest in the universe. Some are solo universe strongest, some are from their own race. They are the first reincarnation era's Bei Chi Star Leader, Blood Orchid Primogenitor, and the second reincarnation era's Rampaging Demon God. This I know. Luo Feng nodded. What I want to tell you is their temperament. Swallow Eagle Leader said. Bei Chi Star Leader's temperament is extremely good. As long as you respect him, it's fine. However, the Blood Orchid Primogenitor is a plant life form. Wherever it goes, you definitely can't get within 1 million kilometers of it. Otherwise, you'll be in danger of dying. These 2 are still alright. One has a good temperament and the other is extremely evil. Both can be easily dealt with. The most troublesome is the Rampaging Demon God. Luo Feng nodded. He had heard of the Rampaging Demon God before. He was a very dangerous and difficult being to deal with. However, the black patterned pillar space was the 3 old bastards' territory. He had to be careful not to offend them. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1238. The Rampaging Demon God, the strongest warrior of the second reincarnation era. Luo Feng's mind had large amounts of information on the strongest warriors of the three reincarnation eras and the two sacred lands. There were differences between the strongest of the universe, some specialized in the soul aspect, some specialized in destroying matter. The difference between having or not having an absolute treasure was huge, and amongst the strongest of the universe, the rampaging demon god was extremely terrifying. Daring to call himself rampaging, one could tell a thing or two. In terms of strength, he could only be considered normal amongst the strongest in the universe. However, it could be said to be terrifying because of that supreme treasure of his. He was a special life form, naturally loving to swallow rocks and metals. He was born with an extremely tough outer shell. It was said that because the outer shell of his divine body was formed from the essence of too many rocks and metals, its toughness had reached an unimaginable level. Coupled with his supreme treasure armor, it was indeed enough to move unhindered in the cosmic sea. That set of armor was a very special armor called the demonic blood sea armor. Other than its normal defensive capabilities, the demonic blood sea armor would cause the surroundings to feel as though they had fallen into a blood sea hell. The rampaging demon god's battle with the strongest of the other universes is only average. However, against us universe lords, he has an absolute advantage. The Swallow Eagle leader said, the moment he goes berserk, his absolute treasure's willpower attacks, even the strongest of the universe would be slightly affected. And us universe lords would instantly be in a daze, unable to resist. Luo Feng nodded seriously. And he's temperamental. The Swallow Eagle leader flew, exclaiming, and he's a lone traveler, completely unafraid of trouble, hence when he meets the rampaging demon god, he has to take a detour. If it wasn't for Planet Beiqi, like me and the other universe lords, I'd have left long ago. The Swallow Eagle leader said, Planet Beiqi's personality is extremely good, plus he's been studying the black engraved pillar for a long time. Whenever he gains something, Planet Beiqi will publicly explain it, allowing us to gain quite a bit. To be willing to teach us the strongest of the universe, there are too few, hence we don't want to leave. Furthermore, wherever Planet Lord Beiqi was, the rampage devil god would give him face. The most despicable thing was that the rampage devil god liked to change his appearance. This was especially true for newcomers. Those who had never seen him before would not be able to sense his life aura. Even after seeing the rampaging demon god's disguise, he still doesn't know who he is and isn't wary of him at all. If he angers the rampaging demon god in the slightest, he might very well die. 2 streaks of light shot through the void of space. As he flew, Luo Feng slowly understood the situation. The black patterned stone pillar space had a total of 16 black patterned stone pillars. Among them, Progenitor Blood Orchid was permanently at the 9th black patterned stone pillar, while Star Lord Beiqi was permanently at the 2nd black patterned stone pillar. As for Rampant Demon God, he did not have a fixed residence. He liked to wander around and disguise his identity. It would be fine if he recognized his aura, but if he did not, it would be dangerous. Up ahead is the 2nd black patterned pillar. It's the place with the most elites in the entire black patterned pillar space. Master Swallow Eagle flapped his wings and flew towards the 2nd demonic pillar at high speed. Luo Feng, who was flying alongside, glanced over. It was so tall that it reached the limits of one's vision and pierced through the fog. The bottom of the black patterned stone pillar also penetrated the endless fog at the bottom. Hoo! A sea of huge rocks revolved and flew around the black patterned pillars. Just like how the earth revolves around the sun, these huge rocks never seemed to tire as they flew around the black patterned pillars. And amidst the densely packed and endless huge rocks, there were the most eye-catching black structures with exquisite carvings. That was the space room. I've acquired the black item from the 5 Turbid Lord. However, I don't know which space room this black item corresponds to. Luo Feng thought, there are 16 black patterned pillars here, and around every pillar there's a space room. Only by getting close to my own space room will I be able to sense it. Looks like I'll have to try each of the 16 black patterned pillars. Flying. Master Swallow Eagle was observing Luo Feng. As he got closer to the second black patterned pillar, the powerful willpower attacks got stronger. Kill, kill, kill. Almost like a trillion armies roaring and roaring. At this point, most new universe lords would have to use all their strength to resist the willpower attack. However, Master Swallow Eagle noticed that this Luo Feng was actually very calm. He didn't seem to be struggling at all. This Luo Feng, he's only trained for a short period of time. His willpower is also this strong? Master Swallow Eagle was shocked. I've trained for a long time and been training here for a long time. Only then can my willpower reach a peak. Only then can I easily resist it. How can he do it so easily? Master Swallow Eagle. Luo Feng pointed into the distance. In the distance, some of the black patterned pillars were flying on rock. There were a few strong life forms. With a glance, I can already see many strong warriors. How many experts are there at the second black patterned stone pillar? Close to 100. Master Swallow Eagle said directly. Look, they are all at different distances from the black patterned pillars. Some are far away, some are close. This all depends on each warrior's willpower. The stronger one's willpower is, naturally they can choose to rest closer to the black patterned pillars. The one in the deepest is planet Bei Qi, so. Two beams of light swiftly flew towards the black patterned pillar. What kind of concept was a height of over 1,000 light years? The entire solar system was tiny compared to it. The closer they got, the more they felt the majesty of the black patterned pillar. That energy that filled the skies made Luo Feng tremble within. It was indeed a treasure recognized as even more special than the most powerful treasures. Till now, not a single strongest warrior in the universe has been able to get close to it and touch it. Milky Way leader. Master Swallow Eagle couldn't help but say, the closer we get, the stronger the willpower attacks. I usually train in the depth. That's close to my limit, hence it's able to train my willpower even more. If you can't handle the Milky Way leader, you have to tell me beforehand. Alright, I want to test myself too. Luo Feng smiled. The two continued to fly in. Master Swallow Eagle was constantly observing Luo Feng. From what he thought, Luo Feng, who had only trained for 10 eras, even if he trained his willpower from birth, how strong could he be? However, Luo Feng's expression was very natural and casual. Obviously, he couldn't even reach a point where he had to strain himself, much less reach his limit. Master Swallow Eagle, as we get closer, the time flow is constantly changing. Luo Feng said. The time flow here is already 200 times faster. Where you train your willpower, how much faster is the time flow? The closer we get, the faster the time flow is increasing. Master Swallow Eagle said. Mine is about 1,100 times faster. Like Star Master Bei Qi, even amongst the strongest warriors in the universe, his willpower is extremely terrifying. He's been training here for more than a reincarnation era. According to him, the time flow there is at least 130,000 times faster. Luo Feng was speechless. No wonder even the rampaging demon god had to give Star Master Bei Qi face. This good-tempered and teacher-like being from the first reincarnation era was simply too powerful. Just his willpower alone was terrifying. If he walked the path of illusions, he would be even more terrifying. Even if he unleashed a simple soul attack with his willpower, it would be extremely powerful. And such a being, his bearing was extraordinary. Even though he was about to reach the end of his life, he was still able to quietly train here. Moreover, he would frequently reveal his own comprehension and was very calm. Master Swallow Eagle? Beside him, the silver-armored black-haired human? That's the silver-winged leader Luo Feng, right? Around the black engraved pillars, a few universe lords noticed Swallow Eagle Emperor and Luo Feng constantly flying in. This made a few universe lords shocked within to be able to get closer than them. It was obvious his willpower was stronger. They didn't dare believe that Luo Feng, who had only trained for such a short time, would be so strong. Some of them were very strong. Their battle strength was strong, but that didn't mean their willpower was terrifying. After all, within the close to 100 universe lords, only a portion of them trained their willpower for long periods of time. Most of them were just resting here. This was just a safe transit point. That's where I train. Swallow Eagle Emperor flew at high speeds. Very quickly, he landed on a huge boulder. Luo Feng landed on it too. Milky Way leader, you can actually withstand the willpower attack here. Respect. Swallow Eagle Emperor exclaimed. Luo Feng smiled. Luckily, he had experienced the training in the wing space. If it was before he went to the wing space, if he was in this position, he would probably be kneeling on the ground trembling, gritting his teeth and perspiring profusely. And now, he was only feeling the strain. There are still quite a few universe lords ahead. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked into the distance. In the distance, closer to the black-patterned pillars, there were indeed a few strong warriors on the boulders. Right, even though there are close to 100 universe lords gathered here, more than half of them are resting here. They aren't purposely training their willpower here. And those that are purposely training their willpower, in terms of willpower, they usually reach the higher levels of the universe lords. Some even reach the pinnacle of the universe lord willpower. Some even break through the bottleneck in terms of willpower. They can match the strongest of the universe lords. Look, those 19. About the same distance as the black-patterned pillars, these 19 have already reached the limit of the universe lord willpower. To advance further, one has to break through the bottleneck and undergo a qualitative change, reaching a level comparable to the strongest in the universe. Look even deeper, there are 2 other experts that are closer to the black-patterned stone pillar than the 19. Other than Planet Master Beiqi, I can see 2 other experts. Actually, there are a total of 3. These 3 universe lords, their willpower is comparable to the strongest in the universe. These 3 belong to the Sacred Land universe and the first reincarnation era. Swallow Eagle Emperor explained. Luo Feng exclaimed. He was probably on par with the 19. He didn't expect to meet 3 universe lords with willpower comparable to the strongest in the universe within the black-patterned pillar space. If he were to look at the entire universe, see? How many would there be? Right, one of the 3 is from the God-Eyed clan. You've previously killed the God-Eyed clan's Gu Jian leader and Wu Hun's main body. Your grudge isn't small, you have to be careful. Swallow Eagle Emperor reminded him. What's his name? Luo Feng asked. Holy-Eyed Clan. Master Jing Yan. Master Swallow Eagle said solemnly. It's him. Luo Feng's expression changed. P.S. Continue writing the 3rd chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1239. Luo Feng was shocked within. This Clear-Eye Lord was comparable to the 5 Turbid Lord. If he were to be categorized according to level 6, he would probably be categorized as level 5. The Clear-Eye Lord was the disciple of the God-Eyed race's first true lord. He specialized in soul attacks and hypnotism, etc. He had the hypnotism treasure, the clear light mirror. In terms of value, it was probably comparable to the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. At least in his hands, he had made a name for himself. In terms of God's strength, this Clear-Eye Lord is close to perfection. In terms of willpower, he's comparable to the strongest in the universe. And he has the clear light mirror. Even compared to the strongest in the universe, he's only lacking in technique. Luo Feng thought, To many warriors, they would rather meet the five-turbid lord. They would rather not meet the clear-eye lord. Against the five-turbid lord, it's a head-on fight. However, against the clear-eye lord, the moment one gets hit by a soul attack or hypnotism attack, one's consciousness will be trapped and one will be at a disadvantage. Of course, many experts would rather choose between Lord of Five-Turbid and Lord of Clear-Eye and fight against Lord of Five-Turbid. However, Luo Feng was more willing to fight the Clear-Eye Lord. If the Five-Turbid Lord really did battle, he really had no way of dealing with it. Swallow Eagle Leader, I won't disturb your training here. Luo Feng smiled. Milky Way Leader, train your willpower in the black-patterned pillar space. If anything happens, you can contact me through the virtual universe. I'll always be here. Swallow Eagle Leader said. All right. Luo Feng immediately became a silver rainbow and flew towards the black-patterned pillars. HM? It's a human. There's actually a human flying over. That's silver-armored black-haired, silver-winged leader Luo Feng? He can actually fly here. Looks like he's not normal to make such a name for himself. At least his willpower is comparable to mine. As Luo Feng flew closer and closer, a few universe lords began to notice him. The time flow is indeed swiftly rising, 1,500 times, 1,800 times, 2,300 times, 2,800 times. Luo Feng felt the space warp. The space had long solidified and the time flow was terrifyingly fast. When it reached 3,000 times the outside world, Luo Feng finally stopped and landed on a huge flying boulder. The other 19 universe lords were about the same distance. The pressure is huge. Luo Feng stood on a huge boulder, gazing at the distant majestic heaven-reaching demon pillar. The willpower attacks here already make me feel uncomfortable. Fortunately, they didn't lose their composure. No wonder those 19 didn't continue forward. If they did, they might not be able to control their divine bodies and lose their composure. His entire body would tremble, sweat would pour out like syrup, blood would seep out, and all sorts of other signs would appear. His soul would be in unbearable pain, and those were all signs of losing control. Now, it was enough for him to feel incomparably strenuous and pressured. From now on, I'll train my willpower on this huge rock. Luo Feng thought. Primal Universe Human Milky Way Leader Luo Feng has appeared in the Universe Boat's black patterned stone pillar space number 2. Luo Feng has appeared. He's in the black patterned pillar space. It's Silver Wing Overlord. He's here. I just saw him with my own eyes. There were close to 100 universe lords around, and a few dozen had noticed Luo Feng earlier. Naturally, the news spread quickly. Luo Feng had expected this, after all. He was going to train here for a long period of time. He couldn't hide it even if he wanted to. However, even if he made it public, it wasn't much. His enemies were mainly the Holy-Eyed clan. The other powers wouldn't go to the extent of clashing with him. As for the Holy-Eyed clan, even though the creator of the huge axe's strength hadn't been made public in the Universe Sea, the third and sixth true lords of the Holy-Eyed clan had suffered a huge loss. How could they not know? Even if they wanted to deal with Luo Feng, only universe lords who had enmity with him would take revenge. As for the strongest warriors of the universe, they probably wouldn't dare to mess around. The power of the huge axe was no joke. The Pure-Eye Lord was dressed in a white robe. His skin was like white jade, and he was standing on a huge rock with his eyes closed. The one-eyed shadow behind him was faintly glowing, and it was constantly resisting the impact of the will. Where he was at, he was much closer to the black-patterned stone pillars. If normal universe lords came here, they would probably be knocked unconscious. The Lord of Clear Eye sensed a ripple in the silent space, and immediately turned to look. In the distance, that distance was where a few warriors with willpower at the Universe Lord level resided. However, he felt a silhouette descend from that direction. A human. Clear-Eye Lord frowned. Following that, his eyes gleamed fiercely. However, He quickly retracted it and muttered softly, "Silverwing leader? He actually dared to come here. He really has guts. Zhu Jian, he has a clone, I can't truly kill him. I can only kill this clone and avenge you." It seemed calm. Clear Eye Lord's heart was burning with a maddening rage. His killing intent was boiling. Long before he, the Lord of the Clear Eye, became a Lord of the Universe, his childhood friends and family had long died of old age. In the long 3 reincarnation eras, the group of Lords of the Universe from the Holy-Eyed race were of the same race, and they were of the same level. Because of their personalities, they naturally formed small groups, and some even had life-and-death relationship. Clear Eye Lord and Zhu Jian's relationship was extremely good and deep. After 3 reincarnations, they were already used to being friends. Zhu Jian's death naturally made him feel bad. However, Luo Feng's movements were a mystery. Sometimes he would appear in the God-destroying stream, sometimes he would appear in the wave-star ocean. Occasionally, he would reveal traces of his movements, making it hard for the strong to determine his route. Very good. So, a white light swiftly tore through space and headed towards Luo Feng. It's Clear Eye Lord. Why is the Lord of Clear Eye flying towards Silverwing Overlord? Is it because of Zhu Jian and Wu Hun leader? Human Luo Feng is in trouble. The other universe lords noticed this scene and observed quietly. None of them intervened. Just as Luo Feng sat cross-legged and meditated, he suddenly saw a white light flying over. Luo Feng frowned. Clear Eye Lord? The white light maintained 100 times the speed of light as it neared. After a while, it slowed down and formed a curve before landing on the huge rock Luo Feng was on. This huge rock was huge. Luo Feng and the Clear Eye Lord were like ants on earth. Silverwing leader. A cold voice resounded. The white-clothed silhouette walked over step by step, every step traversing hundreds of thousands of km, so fast it left behind a series of afterimages. I'm called Milky Way leader, not Silverwing leader. Only then did Luo Feng stand up. He casually looked at the distant white-clothed silhouette. Clear Eye Lord, what business do you have with me? You don't know. Clear Eye Lord seemed very cold as he walked closer. Is it for Zhu Jian and Wu Hun's revenge? Luo Feng asked, or is it for your God Eye clan's face? No matter which, you deserve to die. Clear Eye Lord continued forward coldly. The distance between him and Luo Feng shrunk. His voice pierced through the green light and reached Luo Feng. Deserve to die? Luo Feng laughed. Clear Eye Lord stood still and looked at Luo Feng, being sucked into the abyss and losing the silver wing treasure. I didn't expect you to rise so quickly. It's a pity you're still young. From what I see, you don't seem to be afraid. Luo Feng laughed lightly. Afraid? What a joke. He had the Mad Demon Destroyer armor on him. The material of the armor was special, it could weaken spirit attacks by 1%. If that wasn't enough, his greatest trump card was the Star Pagoda within him. It was an absolute treasure, with it protecting his soul. What did he have to fear? Hence, even though he was shocked by his name, if he had to choose between Wu Hun and Clear Eye Lord, he would rather fight Clear Eye Lord. What confidence! Clear Eye Lord said coldly, then die. Deep in his bones, Clear Eye Lord was very proud. Suddenly, the one-eyed silhouette behind him expanded, and an ancient mirror floated out of his body, merging with the silhouette immediately. The silhouette behind him became more solid, as though a huge eye was staring at Luo Feng from afar, and a formless attack immediately descended upon Luo Feng. Once you die, you'll be clean. Clear Eye Lord waved his hand coldly. Xiao! A white light swiftly broke through space and flew towards Luo Feng, becoming a glaring white beast as it flew. This beast was similar to a white flood dragon, however it had 2 heads. This 2-headed white flood dragon beast tore through the sky and with a low roar, it instantly reached before Luo Feng. The 2 heads fiercely clashed together, almost like a pair of scissors trying to cut Luo Feng to death. Once hit by my hypnosis, you have no way to resist. Even if your body is strong enough, you can at most attack a few more times. Clear Eye Lord said coldly. This was the reason why many Universe Lords didn't want to fight him. A terrifying being in the soul aspect was very terrifying. Of course, the moment the soul attack was blocked, there was nothing else he could do. Those that were proficient in soul attacks were usually not strong in material attack. Lord of Banfu, for example, was only average when it came to physical attack. Even though Clear Eye Lord was much stronger than Master Banfu, relying on his soul alone, he was able to stand at level 5. However, just his material attacks were at most level 4. However, this was already very powerful. Purring! Standing there like a wooden pillar, Luo Feng suddenly waved his hand fiercely. His right hand became a sharp claw, tearing apart the surrounding space and time. A huge claw, every claw was condensed with gold light, almost like a golden blade. These 5 golden blades formed a huge claw, fiercely clawing at the incoming 2-headed white flood dragon beast. With a pained roar, the twin-headed flood dragon's head shattered and collapsed. The exotic beast formed by the treasure's secret technique collapsed, revealing the treasure's appearance. It was an ordinary-looking white long ruler. Rumble! The white ruler was smashed hard into the distant stone ground, causing the stone to tremble. You! Clear Eye Lord was shocked. He couldn't care less and once again unleashed his strongest technique, cleansing samsara. So, Luo Feng however dodged. As a beast god warrior, after comprehending the heart of the beast god, every part of his body could be used as a weapon, using techniques on himself. Luo Feng's movement was terrifyingly fast, almost like a terrifying beast god. In a flash he appeared before Clear Eye Lord. His huge 5-blade-like claws immediately slammed into Clear Eye Lord's head. Clear Eye Lord tried his best to resist, however with a rumble like a pie, he was smashed into a deep hole in the ground. Just you and you want to kill me? Luo Feng raged. Dream on! How can you? Clear Eye Lord flashed out of the hole and retreated. However, he still couldn't believe that his most prided move, cleansing samsara, had actually failed. This was the weakness of a soul warrior. If the opponent was affected by the soul attack, then he would definitely be destroyed. However, if his own soul attack failed, then he would be destroyed instead. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1240. At this time, the silver armor on Luo Feng's body had become malevolent. There were protrusions on his shoulders, there were blades on his elbows, both his hands had transformed into 5 blades, his entire being was like a blade beast god. Pung! Pung! The Lord of Clear Eye blocked with both hands, causing the rocky ground below to tremble and crack in all directions. Clear Eye, your soul attacks are powerful, however your material attacks are still lacking. Luo Feng's entire body seemed to have become a weapon, elbows, claws, fists, knees, fingers, toes, head. In an instant, he madly attacked, causing the Clear Eye Lord to get hit. However, his god body was strong, he could still withstand it. Ah! The Clear Eye Lord roared unwillingly, Silver Wing Leader! Rumble! The surrounding blurry and endless green lights suddenly glowed brightly. Countless green lights wrapped around Luo Feng, trying their best to trap him, immediately causing the raging Luo Feng to slow down. Only then did the Clear Eye Master immediately dodge far away, looking at Luo Feng with a complicated gaze. A punk that had only trained for 10 eras, actually forced the Clear Eye Lord to use a pinnacle domain treasure. This was a humiliation. As an absolute warrior that specialized in the soul, naturally he had his own plans for soul attacks to fail. Just like in the universe ocean, there were some special life forms that didn't have souls. Therefore, the Lord of Clear Eye's domain-type ultimate treasures, palace-type ultimate treasures, and armor were all very powerful. However, the moment he was forced to use them, it meant he couldn't beat the enemy. Being forced by Luo Feng to use his full power, the proud Clear Eye Lord naturally felt frustrated. Domain treasure? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with a beast god's ferocity, after which he laughed and sat cross-legged. To be able to force the Clear Eye Lord to use his full power domain treasure, it's my honor. Looks like, Clear Eye Lord, you can't do anything to me. How did you block my soul attack? The Clear Eye Lord couldn't help but ask. Guess? Luo Feng laughed softly. The Clear Eye Lord frowned. According to the information, you have a Masha clansman. Don't tell me your main body is a Masha clansman? Or do you have a special treasure that protects the soul? If it was the Masha clan's clone, then it wouldn't be afraid of any soul attacks. Why should I tell you? Luo Feng immediately closed his eyes, too lazy to care about the Clear Eye Lord. If the Lord of Clear Eye really wanted to escape, and he didn't want to expose the fact that he had killed Wu Yui, he couldn't chase after him. The moment the Wu Slayer wings were revealed, there would be much trouble. The God-eyed clan might think that the creator of the huge axe obtained the wings and gave them to Luo Feng. However, the creator of the huge axe and the primal Chaos City leader knew. The huge axe didn't obtain the wings back then, and the only ones in the Ninth Abyss back then were Mountain Passenger, Golden Emperor and a few others. The Golden Radiance Demon God was from the second reincarnation era, so there was no need to give it to Luo Feng. Then it was very easy to deduce. Luo Feng and Sitting Mountain Passenger are related. Teacher Mountain Passenger doesn't seem to want to make this public, thought Luo Feng to himself. If Master doesn't mind, I would naturally dare to use the Wu Slayer wings. With the Wu Slayer wings' control over spacetime, I wouldn't even have to fear the Lord of the Five Turbid. Luo Feng was very clear. He was different from the time in the God Annihilation stream. Back then his close combat strength was very weak, but now he was already at the pinnacle of level 4. Compared to Wu Hun, only in terms of God strength, he had the advantage in treasures. He had the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. Wu Hun probably didn't have such a good treasure. And with the Wu Slayer wings, if the two fought head-on, the difference wouldn't be that huge. However, just the Clear Eye Lord. Luo Feng looked at the distant Clear Eye Lord who had an ugly expression and closed his eyes. He won't be able to force me to use the Wu Slayer wings. Humph. The Clear Eye Lord snorted angrily and became a beam of light and left. Only after the Clear Eye Lord left did Luo Feng open his eyes, his expression serious. Even though he seemed relaxed earlier, he was indeed relying on the Mad Demon Destroyer armor and the Star Pagoda's dual defense. That cleansing annihilation reincarnation's power was indeed strong. Even after being weakened by the Mad Demon Destroyer armor, it was still majestic, like an unceasing rolling wheel, crushing Luo Feng's soul. If it was a normal soul treasure, it probably wouldn't be able to defend at all. Luckily it was the Star Pagoda. It's actually this strong. Normal warriors don't have the Mad Demon Destroyer armor, they don't have powerful treasures. Luo Feng exclaimed within, it's indeed powerful. Always relying on treasures isn't a solution, I have to quickly train my willpower too. If my willpower reaches the strongest level in the universe, it'll be much easier to defend against soul attacks, and I'll be able to get the white wings. So, after which Luo Feng stood up and became a beam of light, flying outside. He was just sensing and training his willpower. The first thing he had to do now was to find his own space room. Including the Swallow Eagle leader, there were over 20 Universe Lords watching from afar. They all initially thought Luo Feng was at a disadvantage. However, they didn't expect the Clear Eye Lord's technique to be ineffective against Luo Feng, and he was immediately at a disadvantage in close combat. If the most powerful soul attack was ineffective, then he would be at a disadvantage in close combat. That was within the predictions of the Universe Lords. However, the Swallow Eagle leader and the others couldn't believe that Luo Feng could actually block the soul attack so easily. Was it really because of the Masha clansmen? Within the Universe Boat region, within the endless snow fields, The 5 turbid lord and an young lord walked on the snow fields, not daring to fly at all. The air in this region was extremely dangerous. Every step they took them hundreds of thousands of kilometers. The 5 turbid lord frowned and stopped. "What's the matter?" the young lord asked. The 5 turbid lord's eyes were filled with rage, saying solemnly, "That Luo Feng has appeared in the black-patterned pillar space." Black-patterned pillar space? The young ruler was delighted and said, "That's right, I remember that Jing Yan is in the black rune stone pillar space." Thinking of Jing Yan, the young ruler felt a deep sense of dread. That was a terrifying existence. Clear Eye has already clashed with Luo Feng. The 5 turbid lord shook his head. It's a pity that Clear Eye couldn't do anything to Luo Feng. His soul attack was easily blocked by Luo Feng. He didn't even react. He could only rely on his domain treasures to suppress Luo Feng, making him unable to fight him in close combat. What? The young lord was shocked. This Luo Feng has a few large clans. Maybe he used the Masha clansmen this time. The 5 turbid lord frowned. "I can't be bothered with how he blocked the soul attack. That has nothing to do with me. I can use absolute strength to crush him. However, what I'm worried about now is... This Luo Feng left very quickly after the battle. I don't know if he's headed somewhere else." "He's still leaving?" The young lord stared. "Just where is this Luo Feng heading to?" "Who knows?" The 5 turbid lord shook his head. The black-patterned pillar space. It was vast and peculiar. The 16 black-patterned pillars were incredibly tall. "Haha, after spending half a month, I've finally found a space room that belongs to me." Luo Feng looked at the distant black structure and couldn't help but laugh. He could already sense it, as he could only sense it at close range, hence these few days. He had indeed been running around the black-patterned pillars. 5 turbid, 5 turbid. Your black keepsake has landed in my hands. I wonder, what exactly did you leave behind in this secret space room? So, Luo Feng became a beam of light and swiftly flew over. This space room was huge. It was almost the same size as the huge rocks that revolved around the black-patterned pillars. When Luo Feng flew before it, he felt how tiny he was. His hand gently touched the wall and easily passed through it. Luo Feng was shocked and smiled. After which he took a step forward. His entire body passed through the wall and entered the space room. Within it was an independent space. It was majestic and vast. Only the owner of the black keepsake could enter. Other warriors, even the strongest in the universe, couldn't even dream of entering. Over the long years. There hasn't been a single warrior that has been able to destroy the space room. Even the lowest level of the 3 keepsake rooms, the black keepsake space room. It's really huge. Luo Feng floated in mid-air, gazing down at the endless land. The continuous mountain range on the land was shaved very flat, on the smooth stone walls. With a glance, one could see large amounts of engravings and written records, etc. So, Luo Feng swiftly descended and landed at the beginning of the countless engravings. There were ancient words on it. He couldn't recognize them at all. These words were different from the universe ship's ancient civilization's words. However, the words themselves were infused with powerful willpower, easily transmitting the information to the viewer. At Luo Feng's level, even a picture could be used to transmit large amounts of information. "I, Master Jiufan. This black keepsake has been with me for who knows how many generations. The warriors of the past have fallen one by one, and only a few traces can be seen. It really makes me sigh. Hence, I have an idea. I hope that in the future, every owner of this space room will leave behind some information here. At least, even if they die, they'll still be able to let others know. I've already lived for close to 3 reincarnation eras. My limit is near. I'll just wait here quietly. If I die, I'll leave the treasures here, and the later generations can obtain them. Haha, I wonder which later generation will have such luck. I, Sparrow Spring. Senior Jiufan's treasures have reached my hands, and I have to thank Senior Jiufan. Before Senior Fan, there may have been many owners of this space room, but the information is unclear. Hence, I've taken Senior Fan as the first owner. Then I'll be the second owner. If I really have no hope of passing the limit, before I do, I'll leave the treasures here. This is the diagram of the techniques I've comprehended. On the vast smooth stone walls, there were large amounts of engravings. Every engraving represented every owner of this space. I, Tong Yu Master, the 193rd owner of this space. The previous seniors didn't leave anything behind, however, when exploring the 3 great danger zones, the most troublesome thing is that there are many unknown areas, dangers unknown. Hence I have an idea. Every owner of this space will leave behind their own map of the 3 great danger zones, and every generation will make detailed additions. And this map will always be here. I believe that after countless generations, the map will become more and more detailed. This will be the fortune of us owners of this space room. I'll leave behind my map of the 3 great danger zones. Along the smooth stone walls, the many generations of space owners wrote, following one's gaze, it actually continued on and on, almost without an end. Younger generation, cry, I've destroyed all the maps of the 3 great danger zones. Remember, I'm the assassin master, the 1928th owner of this space. I didn't leave any treasures behind, As time went on, more and more were recorded. Later on, more and more space owners continued to leave their own map. Along the way, there may have been some disruptions, but most of them still chose to leave behind their own map. This was already a tradition. Amongst them, there were many strong warriors who left behind their own proudest techniques and map. I'm afraid there are tens of thousands of space owners. Luo Feng looked quietly, almost as though he could see the changes of the space owners, the strong warriors from the rebirth era. Only after countless years had passed, everything had dissipated in the cosmic sea, leaving behind only a few traces. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1241. The smooth rock walls stretched as far as the eye could see. Luo Feng walked step by step, studying the stone carvings left on the walls. Even if a space owner represents an entire era, it's far exceeded 10,000 eras. It's far more than 10,000 reincarnation eras. What's more, there are many warriors who have lived for close to 3 reincarnation eras, and with the previous space owner dead, the black item left behind, it'll probably take a long time before the next owner obtains it. Luo Feng thought. They all studied it, and many of the warriors left behind their own ultimate techniques and drawings. Obviously these were the ones they spent the most effort on, and were the result of their blood, sweat, and tears. Even though his attainment in the engravings had reached the Universe Lord level, and these techniques were mostly left behind by the Universe Lords, only a few were left behind by the strongest of the universe, it was still an eye-opener for him. Techniques could actually be created like this? There was such a technique? Luo Feng walked along the walls, studying and studying along the way. Every time he saw a new engraving, he would rather stop and study it. I, Wind Valley Spirit, the 20,293rd space owner. I've studied the past space owners, including myself. There were a total of 9 strongest warriors in the universe. Just like them, before my time comes, I too will choose to attempt the reincarnation. Every time I attempt, I'll risk it. This time I'm going to attempt the reincarnation. It's filled with danger. When I was adventuring in Flow Mountain, I acquired an armor. Its power was extremely strong, second only to the strongest treasures. It's called the Mad Demon Destroyer armor. I will leave this crazy demon god vanquishing armor and some other supreme treasures that I have no use for here for my descendants. As for the maps of the 3 great danger grounds, I've enriched them once again. This black item space. Not mentioning anything else, just the maps left behind by the past warriors have enriched themselves. Even though there have been over 10 instances where the space owners have destroyed the maps, most of the space owners have enriched their maps. I hope the later generations can continue to enrich their map. I, Wu Hun Leader, the 20,294th Space Owner. Senior Wind Valley Spirits Treasures. I've luckily acquired them. I'm very grateful. I've enriched the maps too, and left behind a few treasures that I have no use for here. Out of all the techniques I've created, the strongest is the 5-beast annihilation. Below were the techniques and drawings. He saw that this was the last one. Treasures? Luo Feng immediately rushed into the sky, flying above the entire mountain range, surveying the entire space. Wu Hun left treasures here? Luo Feng looked carefully. Rise. A pair of silver wings suddenly appeared on Luo Feng's back. With a surge of his divine energy, he activated the engravings on Wu Slayer's wings. A blurry golden light immediately spread out. Even though the entire space was huge, it didn't exceed the Golden Country's scanning range. In an instant, it enveloped the entire independent space. With a single thought, he inspected the entire independent space. Where's the treasure? Luo Feng shook his head. The entire space, other than a map, there's nothing else. This Lord of 5 Turbid seems to have taken away all the treasures. After which he moved his feet and arrived at the distant mountain peak. On the mountain peak there was a half-translucent black crystal pillar. The entire pillar was emitting a faint glow. Luo Feng knew, according to the records of the previous space owners, this crystal pillar was the item that carried the map. It contained the map of the 3 great forbidden grounds. Although a lot of inheritance was lost in the middle, it was already a collection of maps of nearly 900 space owners. After each generation of space owner looked at it and memorized it, they would generally enrich the map they knew. Even though Wu Hun left behind his last words, he was still far from the end of his life, hence he wasn't in a rush to leave the treasures here? Luo Feng guessed, and the truth was indeed so. That Lord of 5 Turbid indeed had a plan. In the last few days of his life, he left most of the treasures here. As for now, he was still far from leaving the treasures. Forget about the treasures, this map is indeed precious. Luo Feng walked over step by step, the wind howled, Luo Feng walked against it, very quickly arriving before the black crystal pillar. A thread of his divine energy seeped in. An incomparably vast 3D map appeared in his mind. The 3D maps were Flowing Mountain, Universe Boat and Pinnacle World. What a rich and detailed map! Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. The collection of maps of close to 900 space owners is indeed extraordinary. It's a pity that within the inheritance of over 20,000 space owners, 10 of them destroyed the maps. Damn it, otherwise the map would be much more detailed. Jiefan Z was powerful. However, the Universe Boat map left behind by Jiefan Z, compared to the map in the Black Crystal Pillar, was obviously much simpler. However, even though there were close to 900 space owners with rich maps, of these close to 900 space owners, only one was the strongest, the Wind Valley Spirit. Hence the inner region was extremely detailed. However, the core region was very blurry and unclear. Only a few places were recorded. I'll add my own map too. Luo Feng didn't hide anything, swiftly adding more. He also recorded the maps of the 3 great forbidden lands that he had seen and learned about into the string picture that he had obtained. Standing at the peak of the mountain range, Luo Feng held the silk map in his hand, swiftly memorizing it. Only after finishing in one breath did he carefully look at the 3 maps within the silk map. This. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He couldn't help but hold his breath. The more he looked, the more excited he got. Even his hands couldn't help but tremble. Ha ha! Wu Hun, you've really treated me well, giving me the Mad Demon Destroyer armor and this black token. Luo Feng laughed out loud, extremely excited. I've been worrying about how to get Jiefan Z's treasures. Jiefan Z's treasures were placed in the green token space. It's at the border of the Universe Boat's core region. It's extremely dangerous there. Even now, I don't have any confidence in getting there. However, you gave me this black token. It allowed me to obtain an even richer map. Luo Feng was very excited. At this time he understood why the warriors of the Universe C placed so much importance on map. To be able to record the many routes within the 3 danger zones, with detailed records of every region's dangers, it was simply too important. He didn't even have any confidence in getting Jiefan Zi's treasures before. And this map from close to 900 space owners had very few records of the core region. However, it had a large number of routes within the inner region. Compared to Jiefan Zi's map of the inner reaches, it was far superior. The green token space is the deepest part of the inner region, the border of the core region. As you go, the deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets. However, the new map is extremely detailed. From here to the green token space, there's definitely a safer route. Luo Feng didn't dare go before, because with his star pagoda and silver wings, he was afraid of getting stuck in some danger zone and not being able to get out. Did he have to ask for help from Mountain Traveler? He wasn't that shameless. If he were to ask his teacher for everything, that would be too much. Now that he had a more detailed map, he had confidence in going there. He indeed really needed treasures, because the white wings he was determined to get were damaged. He needed to swallow precious materials or even treasures to recover. Those 6 perfect pairs of wings were an extremely terrifying treasure. In fact, in his opinion, there weren't many supreme treasures that could compare to it. I've got the map. Then I'll immediately set off towards the green token space. Luo Feng nodded. I only need to leave a Masha clansman here to train my willpower. Anyway, there's a total of 16 black patterned pillars, one of which is occupied by the Blood Orchid primogenitor. No other warriors are willing to go there. The other black patterned pillar is Planet Bay Cheese. There's a large number of idle universe lords there. As for me, I can totally choose another black patterned pillar. I'll train alone, and there's no way to scan the surroundings of the black patterned pillars. It'll save me some trouble. Following which Luo Feng smiled, becoming a beam of light and leaving an arc in mid-air. He flew to the back of the smooth stone wall. The 20293 owner of the space was Feng Gu Spirit, the strongest warrior in the universe. He left behind the insane demon destroyer armor and other treasures. The 20294 owner of the space was the 5-turbid lord. Haha! Luo Feng stood before the wall and suddenly laughed. After which, he pointed with his right hand and a golden light appeared, piercing into the wall, and wantonly began to write in human language. However, with his powerful willpower infused within, even those who didn't know how to read would be able to understand the meaning behind it. I, Milky Way leader, the 20,295 owner of the space. I've killed the previous owner, the 5-turbid lord's original body, and acquired his insane demon destroyer armor and the black item. Hence it's a pity I didn't give him the chance to store his treasures here. Luo Feng waved his finger and the golden light carved the words, after which he suddenly stopped. I'll just write half of it. Luo Feng muttered softly. I've only lived for 10 eras, I'm so far away from the next reincarnation era. I'll leave this message for when the time comes. Ha ha ha. The previous owner Feng Gu Spirit acquired the insane demon destroyer armor but never used it, leaving it behind. It was acquired by the previous owner Wu Hun. And now I've acquired it again. Interesting, interesting. Luo Feng smiled and put down his finger. Looking at the words, he sighed softly. I, Luo Feng, don't know how far I can go. Am I going to fall to the point of 3 reincarnations and leave my last words here? After which he laughed. Other warriors may feel sad and narcissistic, but he himself had only trained for 10 eras. Who would dare say what he would accomplish in the future? Let's see if I, Luo Feng, will perish in the cosmic sea's river of history, or create a sacred land universe, an eternal existence. Along with the laughter, Luo Feng became a beam of light and flew into the distance, very quickly reaching the end of the space and exiting it. Flying out of the secret room, ahead was the majestic and endless, piercing through the thick mist of the black engraved stone pillars. That second black engraved stone pillar has planet leader Bei Qi and many other warriors around it. There's a lot of them. This 11th black engraved stone pillar is quiet, there's not a single warrior around. Luo Feng didn't waste any time, becoming a silver beam of light and swiftly flying towards the 11th black engraved stone pillar, getting closer and closer. After a while, he landed on a huge boulder that was eternally revolving around the black engraved stone pillar. This huge boulder that was flying at high speed was as majestic as a continent, every crease on it was like a valley or a peak. Luo Feng stood before a valley and a boulder appeared in his hand. It was the Masha clansman. Following which Luo Feng casually threw it and the boulder swiftly fell into the depths of the valley. The Masha clansman can't be seen with the naked eye, domain treasures can't detect it either. I can peacefully train my willpower here. Luo Feng thought. No one will be able to detect it. When my Masha clansman disintegrates itself, that will be the moment my willpower reaches the strongest in the universe. Luo Feng anticipated silently, following which he flew away from the huge boulder and swiftly left the black engraved stone pillar space, heading deeper into the universe boat. This chapter ended. Luo Feng hadn't been in the cosmic sea for long. After experiencing some training, his wings were starting to grow, however it was obviously still far from being fully developed. Tomorrow he would stop writing for a day. Saturday and Sunday will be swapped. The day after tomorrow he would start a new chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1242. After leaving the black patterned pillar space, Luo Feng continued to head deeper into the universe boat. The environment was naturally even worse and more dangerous. Compared to the warriors dying from the battles, it was the natural dangers of the three great danger zones that was the true killer of the universe lords. Even though some of the dangerous zones had been proven to be dangerous, there would still occasionally be unexpected situations. Accidents. Within the three great danger zones, accidents could happen at any time. Howl, a dark green gale swept through the endless space and time. Under the freezing cold of this gale, the endless space and time had long solidified without a single ripple. Its coldness was enough to freeze the bodies of the universe lords into pieces. If it brushed past the bodies of the universe lords, it would be like a knife slicing through their bodies. A blood-red light passed through the heavy winds and advanced at high speed. The deeper I go into the universe boat, the more dangerous it gets. There are even many places where one has to ride the palace treasures. I believe those that can make it this far all have the pinnacle palace treasures. Luo Feng was in the warm and comfortable core control room of the Star Tower. He sat on the soft sofa and in front of him was an exquisite tea set. This was specially prepared by his wife Su Xian for Luo Feng. The tea leaves were naturally the best. The amber-colored tea in the teacup was steaming hot. Even universe lords, even though my strength is comparable to the Ice Peak leader, I still have to stay within the Star Pagoda. Luo Feng held the teacup. Along the way we've passed many dangerous places. It's very normal. The wild winds, cold currents, flying rocks, these can easily destroy the Pinnacle Palace treasures. The Pinnacle Palace treasures were things that even the strongest of the universe couldn't destroy with a full-powered attack. However, the natural environment within the universe boat was able to reach this level. And this was only the inner region. Of course it was the depths of the inner region. The black patterned pillar space was actually considered a boundary. Before the black patterned pillar space, the danger was slightly lesser. However, after the black patterned pillar space, it was obviously even more terrifying. And this is just the inner region. The natural environment already exceeds the full-powered attack of the strongest of the universe. If it's the core area, how terrifying would it be? Just a slight ripple of energy, and it would far exceed the strongest of the universe. Luo Feng thought. No wonder the core area, even the strongest of the universe with the strongest treasures, can fall. Fortunately, I have a map. Luo Feng rejoiced even more back when he acquired the black token space. That black token space actually had a rich map of the previous owners of the space. Originally, from the black patterned pillar space to the green token space, even with Luo Feng's star pagoda, he didn't dare go. However, with the detailed map, he could choose another route and he dared to go. This map is extremely important. I believe that the other existences in the human race urgently need it as well. If everyone in the human race has this map, I'm afraid that the number of treasures we obtain will increase greatly. Luo Feng nodded. Immediately, the consciousness of the endless dark ocean in the primal universe entered the virtual universe. Of Luo Feng's current clones and body, the ocean clone was permanently stationed in the Milky Way galaxy, occasionally heading to the ancestral god Sek's Purple Thorn Island to receive its inheritance. On the other hand, the divine incarnation remained in the hidden space of the ninth abyss to study the sigils. On the other hand, the Masha clansman turned into a rock in the black stone pillar space to train his will. There were countless life forms in the universe, but as long as they could think, they would naturally have a will. The black stone pillar, to date, not a single warrior had been able to touch it. That was because its willpower was too strong. No warrior, no matter what life form it was able to touch it. Right now, the Masha clansman was in a vast rock. It was extremely huge. Different regions of the huge rock had different time flows. The entire rock was in a region where time flowed 3,000 to 3,120 times faster. Normally, when the Masha clansman trained his willpower under such pressure, studying the engravings and origin laws, the efficiency was obviously much lower. It was only 10% of normal. However, as time flowed much faster there, hence, studying the engravings and origin laws was much more efficient than outside. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island Peak. Teacher. Luo Feng stood in the chaos energy flow and shouted. At the end of the distant energy flow, a golden-robed silhouette walked over. Luo Feng was originally smiling, however with one look, his expression changed. He could clearly see that the energy flow around the approaching golden silhouette was changing. There was a strange scene of life being born from the creation of the world. There was a scene of the destruction of the world. Many scenes were fading. Luo Feng, the primal Chaos City leader, walked over. His gaze seemed even more distant. Teacher. Luo Feng bowed. Congratulations, teacher. He wasn't an idiot. Naturally, he could tell that the primal Chaos City leader had broken through. The primal Chaos City leader smiled. It's just a slight breakthrough, however I'm still a little away from being the strongest in the universe. However, this time, I've already felt the boundary. The path I'm walking on, I can succeed. As long as I make it, I'll become the strongest in the universe. Congratulations, teacher, congratulations, teacher. Luo Feng was overjoyed. To become the strongest in the universe, the hardest thing was to find a path that no other warrior has walked before. Many warriors had decided to walk this path, another path. However, some paths weren't really the path to the pinnacle, it could be a path of death. And the primal Chaos City leader was already extremely strong. Now that he had broken through, he could already feel the boundary. This feeling of reaching the pinnacle was extremely accurate. The final step, no one knows how long it will take. If this reincarnation era ends and he hasn't crossed it, then he will never be able to cross it. Then we will never be able to cross over. The primal Chaos City master sighed. Luo Feng nodded. Only the primal universe could nurture the strongest in the universe. You've come to find me, what's the matter? The primal Chaos City leader asked. Good news. Luo Feng smiled. What good news? The Primal Chaos City leader smiled too. Luo Feng didn't speak much, pointing at the space before him. With a thought, immediately the surrounding chaos energy began to evolve, forming a huge ship, a broken mountain peak, a huge mountain range with countless waterfalls. At the same time, large amounts of scenes appeared within the three, incomparably detailed scenes map. The Primal Chaos City leader looked shocked at Luo Feng. Maps of the three great danger grounds? I'll send it to teacher now, please look carefully. Luo Feng didn't try to be mysterious anymore. After all, the three great maps were extremely detailed, with large amounts of words explaining etc. Just by himself, even 3 to 5 days wouldn't be enough to complete it. After a while, after receiving the map, the Primal Chaos City leader carefully looked at it. He was no longer surprised, but shocked. The level of detail of this map was simply too exaggerated. It far surpassed humanity's current map of the three great danger grounds, and this level of detail even made the Primal Chaos City leader shudder. Such a detailed map? The two Sacred Land Universe maps, I'm afraid they're only this much. The Primal Chaos City leader was obviously very excited. Luo Feng, where did you get this map from? Such a priceless map, no one would simply leave it around. And without enough strength, one wouldn't dare to carry it around with them. Luo Feng smiled. Your disciple was in the universe boat's inner region. I got lucky and found a black token. After which I reached the black engraved stone pillar space, and entered the black token's corresponding secret room space. Within that space I found the map. Black token? The Primal Chaos City leader asked curiously. Black tokens aren't that valuable. Every time a warrior from the reincarnation era falls, there would be a few black tokens scattered everywhere. You getting lucky and finding one is normal. However, the black token's independent space, it's a normal space, how could it have such a valuable map? It's like this. Luo Feng exclaimed. That independent space has a continuous mountain range. The mountain range's walls were actually shaved off by a warrior from tens of thousands of reincarnations before, or even before that. After which, he left behind words and engravings etc. on it, hence the successive space owners all went to enrich the map. Even though there were over 10 space owners who intentionally destroyed the map, when I got it, there were still close to 900 space owners who went to enrich the map. Hence, the map of the three great danger zones is so detailed. The Primal Chaos City leader was speechless, following which he laughed. Ha ha ha. My human race's luck. The Primal Chaos City leader smiled and nodded. That's right, every space owner is about to reach the end of their lifespan. Since their race is about to be destroyed, leaving behind a map before their lifespan is normal. It's been like this for generations. This black token's independent space, just this alone makes it incomparably valuable. The past generations that obtained it were all considered lucky. Go, quickly follow me to see Huge Axe. Your contribution this time is simply too huge. The Primal Chaos City leader said. No matter what, the race has to thank you. With such a detailed map of the three great danger zones, our human race can easily obtain many treasures. Our human race's strength will continue to grow in the years to come. I don't need it, Luo Feng said. I'll pass the map to my teacher, he can pass it to Huge Axe. That's good too. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. Then this disciple will leave. Luo Feng left and vanished. The Primal Chaos City leader watched as Luo Feng's silhouette vanished, sighing within. His disciple Luo Feng was simply extraordinary, his strength improving rapidly, bringing benefits to his race time and time again. Just like the rise of the original ancestor, the founder of the Huge Axe, there were also many shocking events. Every rise of a strong warrior was a legend. My disciple's experiences are also legendary. Looks like he has a high chance of standing amongst the strongest in the future. The Primal Chaos City leader smiled, after which he went to see the creator of Huge Axe. In front of the simple shrine. The heavens have blessed us humans, the heavens have blessed us humans. Ha ha ha, this map of the 3 great danger zones with this map, even in the entire universe see, I'm afraid only a few powers can match up to us humans. The creator of Huge Axe laughed loudly. After the universe boat incident, I didn't have much luck. Hence I left the universe boat and returned to the Pinnacle World. Pinnacle World is where my luck is. Back then, after the fall of the Yuan Ao Lord, the map was split. I was troubled by the lack of it before. With this map as a supplement, it's much easier for me in the Pinnacle World. Primal Chaos. Huge Axe said directly. This time Luo Feng's contribution is huge. Let's set it at 20,000 contribution points. Alright. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. You work hard too. Take another step and enter the ranks of the strongest in the universe. Huge Axe exclaimed. When that time comes, our human race will naturally become even stronger. When that time comes, with your help, maybe I can try to think of a way to save the ancestor. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. He knew about this too. The ancestor had been suppressed for eternity. To come out again, how hard would that be? However, as long as one's strength was sufficient, nothing was impossible. P.S. The new chapter, The Strongest That Fell, has begun. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.